away. Nah, if you're that, and your boy is was in them. Watching or sorry. It's your net, quite them said they pay the car and my hotel another one. And I'm a Jinaha. Camera for the movement and Yamini and the Cabio. Officer said, I'm a Jinaha because NDC Po or Mumpo 2024. Abano winning. Now, where we nearby, Yadimona. Where we nearby, Yadimona. And that time now because I said no. Nakana you want to chill. Now you here. Now every day abo ayade. Food inflation and I'm 61%. Inflation and I'm 55%. Cement, ecoso, iron rod board, ecoso, contractor for SME, I am a 40. Now what I do my agenda 111 $19. Bibia bo akoso ama ye ho atire. Na saa time no afisa say ye wa ahuchire mu no na ye NDC fo adri say saa time no ye ba beto aba wo Ghana ha. Intesa say ye ko ahuchire mu ntino Ghana fo ni saa enibre no e beto aba atia MPP. Na mijina e ka say e beto say ye beto aba no. Ena emusie ne ebo ahata Ghana so no na abafom ama for ehu eduma pa MPP for ye no wona kira so e dey toba ba inflation na 61% no and now 23%. And now inflation, food inflation and now 61% no and now 27%. And now dollar and then 19 and 13. And now IMF is saying Emwaku and Emprayaso and to on your supply the Vaco Tamaguzana. And your money she says albino and now I'm up for a year. Now every December no dollar a day anti. Now you are the boss a day anti. Now you have 4 hours to do as Ghana. Now you who are never to about MPP. I'm a Dr. Momo, I'm a winning, I'm a president of Ghana. Danyamese say NDC for winning papa be a farm master your mama. It be massive no charge your mama. Danyamese say NDC for winning papa be a farm master your mama. It be massive no charge your mama. Every say Minister, what did the Patapa? Every person says about the year 2024 now. The veterans say we have the band. The veterans say we have the band. We have the band. Say about MPP party, I have a band. See about the platform. So near the power, I'm a NDC. NDC for Pell. I'm a Pell. 2024 abano and not the winning da. I'm a winning. Moko check your record. Omo wini na MPP amanya kuono. MPP amanya kuono. Yes, you also you win the election. MPP. Yes, you say you win the election. It's the enemy. Why be so you win the 2024 abano?
You guys stood at the corner, and when he was about to take the hotels, we said, "Hi, you never win."
What is it? Patapa. Every person shall about the year 2024 now. The veterans say we have the band. The veterans say we have the band. NDC for Pell. Amu Pell. 2024 abano. And now you're winning that. I'm winning. I'm winning. Moko check your record. I'm winning. Na MPP amanya kuono. MPP amanya kuono. Yes, you also you win the election. MPP. Yes, you say you win the election. It's the enemy. Why be so you win the 2024 abano? The better so.
You ran away. You guys stood at the corner, and when he was about to take the hotels, we said, "Hi, you never win." And you dare say you will not hand over power to President Mahama. I have a message for him. On the 9th of December, inshallah, if the good people vote for John Mahama and your MPs, if he's a man, he should not hand over power and see. We will show him that when iron and iron meet, you will see fire. The people of Sisala is here.
Our president, John Mahama, is a president for the future. In some of the advanced countries like Switzerland, like Norway, etc. His nature, his style is such that he could easily be a president in some of those countries. It is unfortunate that rather than celebrate and discuss this man's forthrightness and sense of discipline, media commentators and contributors and their controllers, so steeped in their petty political mindedness, could not bring themselves to see or recognize a role model, a germ of a man. This is sinful. When you see such purity, such beauty, and you cannot recognize it, something is wrong. We'll need to clarify. Thank you. MPP party. Obi obeka say Yamisha e bia ere oboa. Na na do da kwa kufuado. Odun kwa the president wa ba efie watchi ekomo maada. Meboa. Efie watchi ekomo nyene. Ewiase nyira chi kom no na Ghana wo dey aduane. O mi ene nyame ase. Nyame aye dua ma party no. Do na wa say. Be di kan enema sabi eti. Aha bi je the whole dream ye. So your baburu na wo MPP a asema meka o ye nsadu adwumo o som pa o ye dey ukọ wa anim. De ebinom ni Ghana koduru ye na ni da so ni no na do dan kwa kufu adu aba ama ni so ye dey aba. Sa na nyame babu amado kabomi aba na wasifie papa bi enya ye dey yatre. Etienne bijra ha bunyina fonyina he nyafe Pinefe. So ya papa no abobra. Na wa wuba. Na wobano abedi wadie na odi tapade na ire akona nim. Na nado dan kwakufu ado awo Dr. Baumia. Ama na Ghana fo nyina o se bakọ ya no ho efe na ho akono ya di Ghana ni ma yeden eye ya ti MPP kroi ebi sida ya nyina ya be ka bo ma be ya adwumaden afiwe ami ahye na nado dan kwakufu ado ebi se odo kwa Dr. Baumia bere obeba ebi siwa MPP boda Ghana ha ya chechi Ghana abakosoma President Kufuor to call retirement. But to be sacrificed, we say a free say Ghana from 1957. Ebekane, yenya president bi awabua Ghana China na do dan Kufuor. Me say a free 1957. Bekane, mo form Kwame Nkrumah no, mo form Obia di wa abedi mampanya. What Ghana who buy and the Ghana colony China na do dan Kufuor.
Do you think you can represent all of Africa?
Me represent Africa is too big for me. I'm only trying to throw out ideas. And so it's only the ideas and principles which I believe in, which I think will be the ultimate. Help the continent is what I'm trying to put forward. And if the ideas and principles which I put forward is taken by the great majority of the people, then I think I've done my duty.
John Mahama says he has a new idea. And what is the new idea? He says he wants a 24-hour economy. 24-hour economy. He doesn't even understand that policy. Today in Ghana, our hospitals work 24 hours. Our electricity company works 24 hours. Our water company works 24 hours. Our phone companies work 24 hours. Miniature bars work 24 hours. Isn't it? Today, because of digitalization, the banks, you can transfer money 24 hours. You can receive money 24 hours. Isn't it? So he doesn't understand his own policy. It does not make sense. And I want you to vote in 2024, but I will bring a new vision. I will bring new policy, and we will transform this country. John is the past. Dr. Baumia is the future. If Dr. Mahama was there, we will still be having a doomsday economy. You can't have 24-hour economy with doomsday. So you want to vote for Dr. Baumia in 2024. We will take the country to new heights. Salamu alaikum.
Poultry. Eye nkoko ejuma ye no. Emo anwa esichire tomato ene obeye num ye krab ye $2 billion. $2 billion ene de kra sa nyoma no eba Ghana ha. Enso wo hwa Ghana so a eye nyoma ye betimi aye yankasa ewo ha. Enti ye de moama poultry fo a na e wo se enyoma poultry na ye di fi abonte ba no ye ma esote na NDC aban wo so no omo de poultry na efi amano ne ba no ye ka che omo se ansa na ye be pene ama wo de poultry efi abrochi aba no e wo se wo kire se poultry no wato efi Ghana poultry farmers ni bi asa na wo de abrochi de na beka ho ye ema poultry a di fi amano ne no esote ye enso ye fi aban mu eno mo ebue kwan ebiom ama omo na nipa ne bebre a omo ye MPP fo a omo ema MPP amanyoko ne sika no omo ka poultry importers no ho enti na omo mpese omo twa poultry na efi abonten ba no ye de ye nye poultry importers poultry farmers e ho Ghana ha ena omo hu hiaye enti ne ebeye bia se omo adwuma betumpon no nyame adom NDC ba ye no betra ho Ni asa peja ports ejuma no na abeya krabeke.
And the vice president is saying that he understands the region. He says this 24-hour economies. Hey, my brothers, when we work in our farms and we are tired in the night, we have to sleep with our wives. Oh. We have to be with our wives. Oh. In the night, you want us also to go and be farming, and then people will come and take our wives away. Hey, now we have to be careful about this 24-hour thing. Oh.
As I've said before, I'll allow history to be the judge of how I've served my nation. How well I have done my part in running my lap of that relay. What that verdict will ultimately be, I cannot say. I can only say that I have done my best, giving my all, and done so with the best of intentions for my God and my country.
Everybody there, will be able to so like I said, money is easy. I don't say any background. It be a Jumano no tears here. And now person come to cry a day. Let's also know. And I'm saying, the coupons I said I'm more quite so for you 30 million Ghanaians. See you so better when you are kissing so now Rema. To Paul, man.
They told all their communicators, anytime you mention Mahama or NDC, say incompetent. So you hear Baumia and Co say incompetent Mahama administration, incompetent. You've never held any responsibility anywhere near presidency before. You don't know what it is like to be president. So boy, I will take that word from Kufuor or from Rawlings because they've been there before. All of you guys have never ever come near the presidency. You know what it is to be a president? And you stand and say, incompetent Mahama administration. Incompetent Mahama administration. Free Wi-Fi services to all our public institutions. My dear Ghanaian youth, the 8-hour work system that we currently operate is woefully inadequate to generate the production, the productivity, and well-paying jobs that are needed to revive Ghana's bankrupt economy. They are also inadequate to produce enough jobs for our young people. As I stated during my John Mahama Live virtual event some weeks ago, extraordinary times require extraordinary interventions for exceptional results. Ghana is experiencing extraordinary hardships, and the youth are also choking under the yoke of these hardships. This being the case, the 24-hour economy initiative is the best and most extraordinary pathway to generating the decent and well-paying jobs that our young people need, the job creation. I'm determined to provide the necessary incentives such as favorable tax, cheaper and more reliable power in order to encourage this. We'll also provide financial support through the Ghana Exim Bank from our oil revenues and the Women's Development Bank, amongst others. And this is why the Trade Union Congress described the 24-hour economy initiative, and I quote, as a great idea that could be the game changer for youth employment.
The government, of course, has already cut and abolished teacher training allowances and nursing training allowances. The president said even if it was going to cost him the election, he wasn't going to restore them. Didn't he say it? But today, with just 2 months to the election, feeling defeat staring him in the face, he is trying to make an about 10 and say that he wants to restore the allowances. Do you believe him? Do you believe him? we have to treat that promise with the contempt that it deserves. It is a propaganda promise. It is a 419 promise. If you vote for him, he will cancel it in 2017. We cannot trust him and his word on this issue. You can only trust Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Of course, the NDC and President Mahama are going about saying that these reductions in taxes that we are going to implement as part of our comprehensive program of economic reform. They are going around saying that our manifesto promises are going to ruin the economy. I'm just so baffled. You, a president, you have presided in 8 years over the collapse of our economy. If you knew the plan that could work for the economy and be successful, why haven't you implemented that plan in 8 years? Why? If you know what can work for our economy, why is the economy collapsing in your hands after 8 years? You clearly do not understand the economic plans and underpinning the MPP manifesto. So your task is to make our economy work. You cannot do it, and now you want to say the MPP plan cannot work. You have essentially no legs to stand on in saying the MPP plan cannot work, because your own plan has collapsed the economy, and we are bringing a new plan for the economy, and a new plan that will work. It will work. We reduced taxes during our tenure of office. Corporate taxes were brought down from 32% to 25%. And at the same time, we saw a major increase in tax revenue. So it makes economic sense. And we are going to focus on production. And we will not be distracted by the president and his comments on our manifesto. He should focus on fixing this collapsing economy.
To give legal backing to the process of fiscal consolidation, the government is likely to be required by the IMF to pass a fiscal responsibility law. A fiscal responsibility law will require governments to declare and commit to a fiscal policy that can be monitored. It includes rules and provisions for transparency and sanctions. Mr. Chairman, in my lecture last year and earlier in November 2013, when I delivered the Aliyu Mahama Memorial Lecture, I offered the same piece of advice to government, but the Minister of Finance responded that it was not necessary.
Yes.
Today, because it is the IMF offering the solution, the government response is that it is very necessary. Mr. Chairman, to prevent the runaway printing of money by the central bank to finance the large deficits of government, the IMF is requiring that Bank of Ghana reduces its lending to government to zero by 2016. Zero. This means that in 2016, Bank of Ghana would not be allowed to lend even a peso to the government. During my lecture last year, I offered similar advice. I cautioned that the printing of money was too much. The bank responded that it wasn't the case. But today the IMF is offering the same solution, and they agree with it. Bless you. As the IMF has stated, government would be required to remove all subsidies on utilities and petroleum products. This will require, obviously, will cause a lot of hardships. The removal.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number 2, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are 2 types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday, the 13th day of August, 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making a round here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic, Mahama launches NDC Youth Manifesto, promises to create more jobs. Kolebu secures 30 new dialysis machines. NLA loses 1 billion cedis to illegal lotto operations. Devices plan to reverse trend. Stop threatening violence. Peace Council urges political parties. The Ghanaian Times, commit to anti-corruption issues. Coalition demands from political parties. At NDC's Youth Manifesto launch, we will create the jobs for you, Mahama assures youth. Roads Minister orders KMA to stop construction of buildings in waterways in Kumasi. Neo die in 2 family, appeals to Lands Commission for fairness in land demarcation exercise. Daily Guide, Mahama's free level 100 policy stokes fire. NPP will win 2024 elections. NAPO, I'll empower the youth. Bawumia's digitalization agenda game changer, ex-Canadian minister. The New Crusading Guide, I will extend driver's license renewal to 10 years. Bawumia. Ghana East Municipal Assembly denies corruption allegations. Good coup, bad coup, beggar man, thief. Collaborate for visible implementation of SDGs. Professor Mwaku urges Ghana and Africa. Maslok Boss adjudged Ultimate Woman of the Year. Oslausu commends Miss Geek winner as government continue to improve IT studies. NDC chairman accused of defaming party. The Insight. SMG blast ECOWAS and AU over silence in Ukraine's terror attacks in Mali. Court jails 3 pastors of Holy Apostolic Reformed Church. High Court exonerates Tobinko over fake drugs allegation. Angel Smile Foundation donates BP cuffs to La Polyclinic, Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Nidoku III leads Bese Mancha to celebrate Homowo in style. Israel kills over 100 Palestinians in massacre at dawn. The Daily Statesman, Ghana's digitalization a game changer. Canadian minister urges developing nations to adopt it. Court vindicates Tobinko over fake drugs claim. National Youth Conference to explore youth innovation and digital impact. Maslock honored for championing business sustainability. The New Finder, invest loans into capital projects to generate revenue for debt servicing. Deloitte. NRGI warns against Russian new gold refinery amid past failures and certification issues. Ghana secures ICMA legal opinion for global master repurchase agreement. Demand for T-bills drops by 19.18%. NLA makes 5.2 million cedis profit in 2 years, clears 17.1 million cedis debt. Awuku. Business and Financial Times. Over 5.5 million coastal residents face danger as a result of degradation. World Bank financed WACA RECIP 2 Ghana project launched. Electrochem set for stock market debut. Cocoa Board confident of producing 800,000 tons after investing 943 million cedis. SNATE scheme faces growing payments through contribution disparity. Feature, NIC launches 2024 blood donation campaign amidst national blood shortage. Another feature, Professor Mwaku, visibility of implementation of SDGs demands greater collaboration from stakeholders. Economy Times, utility tariffs, fuel prices, and exchange rate threaten inflation outlook. Ghana's gold reserves hit 65 tons. Ghana ranks favorably on corruption, RMB reports. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She's pleased. But now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains the new fleet-finding darts are more accurate than the old ones. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't automated your fleet management yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Blast. Boom! Exclusively on Betway. Win up to 300% more when you play FlyX with Win Boost from Betway. Betway, get way more.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm afraid Missy Way.
Prepare bantama.
Matiasi.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me Gidi say we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasa.
Ile ko saying. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kale, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Bet, blast, boom! Exclusively on Betway. Win up to 300% more when you play FlyX with Win Boost from Betway. Betway, get way more.
Are you looking to own a prime piece of litigation-free land where you can put up your dream family home or your ideal getaway retreat within a luxurious estate? Then look no further. Welcome to Rehoboth Hills, where your dream of hassle-free land ownership comes to life. Acquire land devoid of multiple purchases, litigation, and land guard issues in a safe and secure gated community while enjoying the fabulous night view of Accra from the serene Ebri Mountains. Rehoboth Hills offers spacious plots that provide you with the ideal setting for your dream home and a valuable, safe investment for your future. The lands are located in the prime area of Ayarifa within our residential development Rehoboth Hills, overlooking the city of Accra and the Ebri Mountains. Our prices are very affordable and designed to fit your budget. We offer flexible payment terms, ensuring that you can invest in a valuable asset for the future. Contact us on 0244 764 499 or 0204-950-810 or visit our website at www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
Ama, nasi mi chino wobin enkoye kwao. Ama maye bohu se kuntomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basima kura. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture and in the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be boa wo kunu. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya ne nti sese ne wo yi chopon. GC mixture and then a capsule.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Kwada when you feel to me.
Here is to the friends who took the chance with no regrets. Investors no more hating fortune. To the health workers who diagnosed blacks every move. And then to the hard guy who couldn't hold his emotions. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hand-earned stitches into a bundle of joy. And now, here is to you. Your next big win is right here. From 1st July 2024, dial *712# across Water tickets as a group, individual to win in the community draw or the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with *712#.
Created by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let me try and provide you some information. And I like to jog your memory a bit. Now, I just want to take you back some 15 years. And I don't know the number of things that you remember from 15 years ago. I'm sure that you just bought your first mobile phone or sent a text message via the internet for the very first time, or just discovered the ease of moving money around conveniently. Think back to all those moments. Momo has been there for you. Guess what? Momo is 15 years old. So you have been doing Momo for the last 15 years. Momo is 15 years already. Okay. So from the first time you send money to a loved one to paying your bills effortlessly or enjoying the peace of mind that comes with secure, safe, and reliable transactions, it's been an amazing journey so far. Now get ready for some mouth-watering offers as we celebrate Momo at 15. Look out for MTN's market storms and floats near you and win some mind-blowing prizes. Thank you, Ghana, for doing this with us. Download my Momo on App Store or Google Play and just Momo it everywhere you go. And if you're thinking of getting a toothpaste that will take care of the entire family and save you some money, the recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. It brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864798. KEL 360 toothpaste. Happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple, self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumon or just call them on 0200535515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. Okay, so with me on the show this morning is Alhaji Hussaini Issa, former Member of Parliament for the Kankwe North constituency. Honorable Alhaji, morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abbey. And good morning to your viewers as well.
All right, okay. We're expecting the former Deputy Communications Minister, who was also the NDC's parliamentary candidate for the Brasebu Kwamankesi constituency in the Central Region, Felix Kwachu Fosu, to join us here on the show. Okay. So, I haven't seen you in like a couple of weeks, huh?
Oh, I think I wasn't around just last week. The previous week I was around.
What have you been up to?
Oh, you know, the elections are coming up. I'm very much in there, playing contributing my quota towards victory come December 7th. In a few committees, running around, getting a few things organized.
So last time I was told about your new...
Oh yeah, that one as well. We are working towards it, and you know, coming weekend we are launching our manifesto as well.
Sunday,
so, yes,
18th of August.
All roads leads to Takrady.
Okay.
GSTS campus.
Okay.
And hopefully Ghanaians are going to get the message, and then they are going to get on board and then push our campaign.
Okay.
Much further. Yeah.
Okay. So what should we expect in that manifesto?
Oh, quite a transformational agenda. Already the flag bearer is doing constituency visits. He just took a break from today to prepare towards the program on Sunday. And yesterday also being an International Youth Day. I just want to highlight on a few things that he has shared already in his vision and you're going to get this thing fleshed out much better within the manifesto. He is telling Ghanaians that he is going to ensure that the young people are trained in a growth-oriented mindset. That's where we are going to channel the curriculum. This is to enable young people in this country get opportunity to become critical thinkers, build critical skills, be able to be more problem-solving oriented, be able to spot opportunities as they see them, and design solutions that will actually solve some of our everyday problems. He has said that he wants to enhance the educational system towards STEM, because we're already doing STEM, but he wants to enhance it towards robotics, towards artificial intelligence, towards vocational skills. And this is where we expect that come Sunday, we're going to hear more about this expansion of facilities to specific schools like the medical school, the Ghana Law School, which has been very topical in recent times. And so the whole manifesto is going to gear towards resolving problems. These are bold solutions for our future. That is what you should expect on Sunday when we launch our manifesto.
Okay.
And selfless leadership.
Okay.
Selfless leadership geared at bold solutions for our future.
What is that? What's selfless leadership?
Leadership that puts everybody first. That puts Ghanaians first. That puts everybody first before yourself. That's what selflessness means. And
we are not experiencing that.
I've not said we are not experiencing, but we are going to enhance it. We are going to enhance whatever we are doing. I mean, the fact that I am saying that I am going to do something doesn't mean that it's not happening today. I am going to enhance it, deepen it. I think it's happening.
We're having selfless
leadership. Of course.
So we're putting everybody ahead of ourselves.
That's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think from where I sit. Right. I don't know what you see, but
oh no, I'm rather interested in finding out where you sit.
Oh, okay.
Because
from what I see,
the view from where you sit is quite interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know whether my seat is higher than yours or who is seeing more. I don't probably Felix will be seeing
beyond
more.
the ivory tower. Your views are quite enchanting. Anyway, so Felix Kwachiofosu, parliamentary candidate for Ebura Asebu Kwamankesi, popularly known as AAK constituency, is here with us. Felix, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Randy.
Where have you been and how have you been?
Oh, I've been in AAK, touring the various communities. You know, it's a pretty large constituency, even though it is sparsely populated. There are anything between 260 to 265 communities. Yes, all of which you have to tour.
Whoa.
Yes, and I've been doing that over the period. And so when you see me missing in action,
you have the fishing to your left, the farming to your right.
Absolutely, it's a very diverse constituency with multiple economic activity and people of diverse backgrounds, various idiosyncrasies and what have you. But the most important thing is that in an election period like this one has to touch base. There's no substitute for actually meeting the people. We may use channels like yours and the media, but the media offers a filter between politicians and the people who they intend to govern. So it is always important to go beyond the filter and touch base with the people. That is where you come face to face with the reality of our situation. And Randy, I had a pretty nasty experience a few weeks ago. I visited, well, when I say nasty, I use it advisory. Just that I was shocked about what I found out. I visited a pretty remote community called Esuoso. Esuoso, that's on the border with Asin South.
Esuoso as in water?
Esuoso, yes, basically
yes. On top of the water.
Yes, because there's separately a stream nearby. Now, there's a village that has anything between 100 and 120 inhabitants. And as I engaged them, invariably they told me about the problems they are facing. Now, if you take out the roads, which is a major concern throughout the constituency, they told me that for several months they had been without potable water. So I sought to find out whether it was the case that they do not have access to it at all. In other words, there's no source of potable water, or there is, but perhaps it is in a state of disrepair. They said, oh yes, they have a borehole, but it has broken down. So I sought to find out what exactly it would take to fix it. And Randy, to my utter dismay, all that they needed to fix that borehole was 1,100 cedis. 1,000. So I thought they meant 11,000 cedis. No, they said 1,100 cedis. And because of that, for 6 to 7 months, 120 people in that village have been without water. So that is the kind of reality you are met with when you do these things. And that sort of thing has a tendency to jolt you into realizing that perhaps you are not doing enough.
There should be an assembly man.
There is, but that assembly barely gets anything. The assemblyman is helpless, you know, in the face of a complete lack of resources. This assembly in AK barely gets anything to operate with, and they are in a helpless situation. That reflects, of course, the complete mismanagement of our finances and how broke we are as a country, and the misuse of whatever it is that we have for ventures that are not profitable, ventures that are completely useless and unnecessary. But that is the sort of reality that people are faced with. In some communities, they need just 4,000 cedis to fix water problems. And yet we are sitting here talking about highfalutin things, about changing the mindsets of people and all that. So as I listened to my brother, I was surprised which country he is talking about. You know, Randy, the difficulty that he and his party have, and Baumia clearly has, is that he cannot be believed. You know, he said all these things the last time round. He was put in charge of the economy. He has completely destroyed it. He has thrown millions of Ghanaians into penury. And you've seen that Ghana Statistical Service report that said that over a quarter of our population in the year that, or in the period that they did that, survey, have gone a day without food. And there's no greater indictment on the government. There's no greater evidence of failure, of appalling proportions, than to have a situation where a quarter of our population go a day without food. In other words, there was not one meal on the table that day for them. So, for me, this sums up the absolute disaster that Baumia and his colleagues in the NPP have been. I don't see how he can convince anybody beyond rabid NPP circles to accept anything he says now. And he was the one who waxed lyrical about his economic prowess. Today, he is taking a cowardly flight from economic management and economic discussions. He is simply unable to even take responsibility for the distraction. And right there, he is on tape, video, and several other media, touting the credentials of his team, that is the economic management team. In fact, in one of the videos, which was taken outside this country when he visited the United States, I believe, he claimed that they had a first-class economic management team. And their handiwork is what we are seeing, where up to 2 million Ghanaian youth are unemployed. 2 million. Close to 30% of Ghanaian youth are unemployed. 8.5 million Ghanaians have gone a day without food. Inflation went to 54%, the highest in decades, under Baumia's nose. And today the exchange rate is 16 cedis to $1. 16 cedis to $1. He took it from 4 cedis and took it to 16 cedis to $1. Our debt, according to the finance minister who presented the mid-year budget only a few weeks ago, now stands at 743 billion Ghana cedis as of the end of June. And this was taken from 120 billion Ghana cedis at the time that Baumia was waxing lyrical about how terrible that was. If 120 billion Ghana cedis was unacceptable, why should the Ghanaian people accept 743 billion? Why should they even? You see, sometimes I wonder why he is bothering. After such a colossal failure in government, how can he convince anybody that he means anything he says and that he can be trusted to deliver on anything? Because he has failed on all the important metrics. Today, where are interest rates? Yesterday, I saw a post that he made. He claimed that his government has laid the foundation for businesses to take off. Randy, how is the business community going to survive in a situation where they are paying close to 40% in interest rates. When exchange rates are 60 cedis to $1, 20 cedis to the British pound, almost 17 cedis to the euro. When inflation gallops in the manner that it is doing, when fuel prices go up every now and then. Today, we are buying fuel for a price at a liter that is bigger than what a whole gallon costs in 2016 when Baumia was waxing with the car and promising to fix the economy. So having failed to live up to that hype, that billing, he is going into this election as the weakest ever candidate the MPP has presented, without question. And right, it is not for any reason beyond the fact that the Ghanaian people are able to tell that he misled them in 2016. In government, he has half them puffed, failed woefully to deliver the goods, and has gone around to put together uninspiring claims and passing them off as promises that he wants to put across for this electioneering period. So I don't see how he's going to navigate what is clearly a very difficult electoral terrain. And Randy, you can sense the desperation, the knowledge in the MPP camp that they are losing this election. So you've had Brandon Champo, repeat.
We'll get there.
No, Randy, I'm coming. It's an interesting point. It's linked closely with the performance, because for an incumbent that believes it has done well, Randy, their rhetoric will show. Even their theme, it is possible. Of course, whilst you may argue that it is meant to connote hope, for the sort of arrogance and pomposity that the MPP is known for, there's no way they would have chosen this team if they were confident they were going to win this election. This team shows that they know that they have not performed and the people of Ghana will take them to task. So you've had Bane Champo mount platforms and make incendiary commentary, basically attempt to rally his base with violent rhetoric. And Randy, you cannot put Brana Champo in the ranks of the lunatic fringe on the MPP. It is carefully orchestrated, and he has become the face of what I term the institutional insanity in the MPP, because they are now having to resort to desperate measures, including violence and threats of death and what have you, in order to intimidate the electorate into voting for them. And they put it into practice in Ayo West Woman, where Brother Champong and other operatives in the security apparatus launched deadly violence on innocent persons who were just participating in the electoral process. Then they scaled it up, Randy, in 2020, when they gunned down 8 people, including teenagers, people young enough to be Akufo-Addo's grandchildren. So they have shown their capacity to use killings, bloody murder to retain power. And if you are a candidate or you are a government that has performed well, you are a party that has performed well in government, you don't resort to these measures. You will go into the election confident, but they are not confident by any stretch of the imagination. And they brought this upon themselves because of the appalling governance that they have delivered. So they will go through the motions in the Western region. They will launch a manifesto. But they didn't even check their previous manifestos. You recall my brother Ablakwa did an analysis of their manifesto in 2020. They scored just a little over, 21% or so. They were abysmal. They promised to clean up the Kole Lagoon and put fish in it. So the disaster that they have been. And look at them on the campaign trail. Look at Baumia's disposition. At a time when we have such unprecedented economic difficulties, look at his disposition. He has been told by his experts or his consultants to appear like an ordinary Ghanaian. So he goes to stand on stages and engages in comical offbeat dancing, as if that is what we require this time. Andy. You have a whole candidate attempting to look more youthful than his age, And Randy, you see it. His consultants have told him that he must look like the ordinary Ghanaian. So when he goes to a place, he must attempt to dance. And at a time when Ghanaians are suffering, they are perishing wallowing in hunger and poverty and squalor and unprecedented difficulty, he believes that the most important thing in this election is to engage in comical offbeat dancing. You know, you could be pardoned if you were not in Ghana and you were not familiar with the ecosystem. You think that is a clown performing on the stage. But this is the vice president of Ghana. Somebody who wants to be president at a time of unprecedented difficulty.
Randy.
You know,
I'll give you the opportunity.
So I don't know how they intend to navigate this electoral water. Look, Randy, even if nobody was contesting by Umia and he was alone on the ticket, I'm pretty sure he will lose. Just like recently we had an incident in KNUST where somebody contested alone. She went into an election uncontested, and yet she failed to secure the mandate because people voted no against him. If Bamiya alone contested this election, he would still lose. Because you see, every election is a referendum on the incumbent's performance. That is what it is. If the government has done well, the opposition does not have a snowball's chance in hell to survive the election. But what you have here is unmitigated disaster. And that is why yesterday President Mahama led the youth of the NDC to put forward concrete proposals on how to salvage what is left of this country. Because at this moment, what the MPP has done to this country is unprecedented. It has no government has systematically raped the country in the manner that they've done.
All right.
And I'm sure as we get into the debate, more what it will emerge.
Okay. So you've been writing?
Oh yeah, of course I've been writing. Randy.
Yes.
Alaji. You are Alaji now.
Yes.
Since when?
Oh, the last 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Randy, with this problem in Felix's constituency, I'm happy that you asked whether they had an assemblyman. And then, I mean, we have a local government system where the assembly is a first point of call in cases like this. I'm wondering what happened. And for this to be outstanding for this long, for an amount such as 1,100 to be fixed for people to get water, I'm just surprised what the assemblyman is doing, whether this was brought to the attention of the MC or whichever quarters he had to report or complain to. Severally, the people have spoken about the public debt and all of that, where we took it from it. Where, look, Randy, the records are there for everybody to see. In 2009, when we assumed power, the public debt stood at about 2009. I mean, when the NDC assumed power, the public debt stood at $12.9 billion. By the time they left, whether you want to see 122 billion or 120 billion, in 2016, the public debt stood at 34.8 billion. They had added 21.9 billion within 8 years. Similarly, when we assumed power, we took the public debt from 34.8 billion. As at December 2023, the public debt stood at 52.4 billion. We've added 17.6 billion. In the face of COVID, in the face of Russia-Ukraine, in the face of a very challenging global economic system, in the face of life-threatening, economy-hitting threats that we have had to maneuver this country through. In all of this, the records are also there that we have created more jobs within the 8 years than the NDC did in 8 years. The talk of us going into an elections and whatever Honorable Brian Champon said on the campaign platform. I'm sitting here this morning. When you asked me earlier on, I told you I'm contributing my quota. I'm doing everything possible in my power to ensure that my party, the New Patriotic Party, wins elections. I'm sure Felix here is also doing everything in his power to ensure that he wins the seat and his party wins the elections. So when I get on the campaign platform and I say that we are going to win those elections and through whatever means possible within my my strength. It is a very fair statement, and this is not the first time any politician in anywhere had made such a statement. So for them taking Brian the Champion to the cleaners, I think it's neither here nor there. It is statements that they will make every day on the platform. You have to just get your base.
What did he say?
Brian said that we're going to win these elections by any means possible. I am here this morning. I am doing everything within my power possible to ensure that my party wins elections. And if I say that on a political platform, I don't. It's not tantamount to inciting anybody to get any unorthodox means in winning elections. We know post 2012 and what we experienced in the Supreme Court in most part of 2013. Every Ghanaian has agreed that elections are won or lost at the polling station. If you're not vigilant enough, if you don't get your people to come out to vote, it is the duty or my role as a politician to ensure that my base actually believes that we are going to win the election. They are going to do everything possible. They are going to put their shoulders to the wheel to ensure the collective victory for the party come December 7th. And Brian didn't say anything untoward. It's good for the NDC to think that they've already won the elections. It's good for us. I mean, it's good for us. Survey after survey, what we are doing and what I urge the people who are designing our strategy to do is to pick up whatever lessons we have from this surveys. We have 4 months to the elections, and within 4 months, a lot can change. But I tell you that, look, looking at how Dr. Bawumia's campaign has gone so far, it is very evident, especially in the northern part of the country, that, look, Ghanaians have kept faith with him. Ghanaians have kept faith, and that is why they are coming out in droves, in their hundreds and thousands, everywhere he's gone. Because they have seen the good work. They believe in the promises that he's telling them. He has proven. He has proven. And obviously, when he promises new things, he keeps saying that, look, the challenges that we had to face in 2017 when we came to power are going to be very different from the sort of challenges or the sort of situation he's going to inherit come January 2025. By the time he gets into office in January 2025, there will be an identification system for every Ghanaian everywhere. And so when you have to plan based on a solid foundation where IDs are issued, digital addresses are in place, it is going to be a very, very different thing from a case in 2017 when none of this existed. And I believe that as we go to Takoradi Camp Sunday, I won't sit here to preempt some of the things that you're going to see in our manifesto. But I tell you, we are going to tell the people of Ghana where we took this country from in 2017, where we are today, and where we intend to go. We have built a solid foundation. And I'll repeat again, the challenges that we inherited in 2017, most of them we have been able to deal with. It's true. Along the line, within the last 8 years, we've had some headwinds. No two ways about that. Notably in 2020, we're faced with a situation where the president of this nation said, look, we are going to do whatever it takes to preserve life. The economy can be whatever it is. We know how to bring the economy back. And that's exactly what we've done. You recollect, not from the WHO, but there were projections that by June of 2020, people were going to die on the streets of Africa. If you were in the saddle then, I am sure that you will prioritize the preservation of life, and that is what we did. And I am proud for the leadership that the president at the time showed in this nation to preserve lives, to bring us to this point. We saw how COVID ravaged other nations. Dovetailing into the turbulence that we had in 2022, it's true. In December 2022, inflation was as high as 54%. We had a lot of economic macro stability in this country. Where are we today? We have been able to bring inflation down. Our economy is rebounding. And you don't see all of this. You think that Ghanaians are not experiencing this. What we are telling Ghanaians is that, look, we have turned the corner. The slippery days, the difficult times are behind us. We have proven that even if when we went through 2020, when we went through the macroeconomic stability we experienced in 2022, we are able to say, look, the CD is trading close to 16 CDs today, but you will admit that in the last couple of weeks, months, we have seen relative stability on that front. And that is what businesses need. That is what economic thinkers need. Sustainability of some of these things. Inflation is coming down. Relative stability on the currency front. Economy is growing by, like, as we recorded, 4.7%. It is in this situation that you are able to create jobs for the teeming youth. And that is what we did. And that is what we will continue to do. And that is what our manifesto is going to show come Sunday. You can decide to say, or feel whatever you feel about the coming elections. But I don't think that the elections are over. We are taking everything serious. We are not leaving anything to chance. We are not leaving anything to chance. We will go to Takoradi. We will tell Ghanaians what we have done, where we came from, where we are today, and where we are asking them to renew our mandates, and we believe they're going to renew our mandate, and where we intend to take them in the next term. And that's exactly what is going to happen on Sunday. And that's just what we are going to do. But we will not sit aloof and leave our base. We will continue to carry our base along. We will tell them things that will make them confident. We will tell them things that will convince them that we have done better than any other government within the Fourth Republic. And that's exactly what today.
Okay. So, Hussein, yeah. I'm getting a lot of messages on the issue of the debts.
Right.
So I want us to clarify this once and for all.
Yeah.
Okay. And please listen to me carefully.
I'm listening to you. Okay. We've done this a couple of times.
Okay. So, the government of Ghana has just has entered a program with the IMF. Okay. Now, anytime the government of Ghana or the IMF is speaking about Ghana's debt situation, and mind you, the debt is an issue because there is always debt to GDP ratio, debt to GDP ratio, debt to GDP ratio. I have not seen or heard either the government of Ghana or the IMF or World Bank or any of the rating agencies do a debt to GDP ratio in any currency other than Ghana's currency. I've never heard that. I've never read any budget statement that deals with Ghana's debt to GDP ratio in any currency apart from Ghana's currency. Anytime they say that we are debt distressed or otherwise, it is in relation to our debt in our currency as a percentage of our GDP in our currency. So when they say that we are debt distressed, it's the CD value of our debt as against the CD value of our GDP.
That's right.
When they ask us to lower our debt, or if we're talking about, okay, we're lowering our debt to, let's say we're 100 and something %, and we are now supposed to be in the 70s. It is all CD. Our debt in CD in relation to our GDP in CD. So where from this issue of calculating our debt in US dollars?
Randy, the dollar is the most used currency around the world. Whilst I was in Parliament, I was privileged enough to be on the Finance Committee. And I tell you, for every debt or every international transaction that we did, it was in foreign currency. So we borrowed our euro transactions, whatever, was in foreign currency. And I tell you what, the currency is also very important because we borrow in this currency and we have to pay back in that currency. So whatever local currency we have, we need to convert. And for us, using a floating exchange rate at this time, it meant that if at one point my debt was, for argument's sake, $1,000, and the CD to dollar was 1 CD, $1 to 4 cedis. To pay the $1,000 debt, I needed 4,000 cedis. if the exchange rate moved from $1 to 4 cedis, to $1 to 10 cedis, not even having borrowed any new money, automatically, if you look at my debts in local currency terms, it means that it's going to move from about 1,000 to, for 2,500. Because I will need more cedis now to be able to pay that dollar. So when we have to do comparison, right, you can decide to use the local currency because it is a currency that you need to be able to.
Are you answering the question? I am
answering your currency.
Officially,
yeah.
When the central bank governor is addressing Ghanaians, they are doing their MPC and everything, and they are dealing with Ghana's debts. Is denominated in our currency.
Of course.
In determining whether we are debt distress or not, all this thing about us going to the World Bank, IMF and DDP and everything, it is because our debt is denominated in cedis as against our GDP in cedis.
Randy, let me to have your minds to this. For us to be able to pay that debt, we still need dollars.
I'm not saying I think that you fully understand my question, but you choose not to answer it.
No, I think
all I am saying is that I sit here.
Yeah.
When the IMF or even my government is telling me about my debt to GDP, the percentage, it is not done in dollars.
Remember, in that case, we are talking about debt to GDP. And GDP is measured based on economic activity within this economy.
Well, you can't convert the GDP
we
value to dollar.
We can. Similarly,
but is that what is done?
Similarly, at any point in time, we can also look at debt to GDP.
Is that what is done?
You decide to use the currency.
You can.
But my point this morning.
Whether it is the Ministry of Finance, you are speaking for government.
My point this morning. Yes. My point this morning is whatever our public debt is.
Yes.
There's a domestic component, there's a foreign component.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
For us to be able to pay off, we need to convert our local currency into this foreign currency to be able to pay.
So when they
it is not out of place to also look at it in terms of the currency that we need to be able to make this payment.
I'm not saying that you cannot convert Ghana's debt even into Naira. That's not what I've said.
That's it.
I am saying that when the government of Ghana is speaking about its debt, its GDP, debt to GDP and all that, it is denominated in the city. When the central bank governor is telling us about our debt situation, he does that in our currency. And he even add that, look, the thing has even risen as a result of our exchange rate weaknesses and all that.
That's it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that anytime they say our debt to GDP is X, we have crossed the line, we need to do something, we can't pay our debt, it is in relation to the debt denominated in our currency.
Right, you also understand that given the exchange rate regime that we have selected to use, a floating rate at this point in time, your public debt might even rise when you have not borrowed a dime. Why? Because the exchange rate has shifted.
But that is what we.
That's a reality.
But that's what we do.
But in this analysis that I did, or in the figures that I churned out.
Are you suggesting that?
In the figures that I churned out.
Are you suggesting that the rate you did for 2016, it did not include an increase which is as a result of exchange rate?
I have tried to use a currency that will match like to like.
So why don't we do that?
Because the exchange rate, as at 2016 or as at 2009, was different from the exchange rate as today.
Debt to GDP.
Yeah.
Why is it not?
But you can decide to do the analysis. Nobody takes your risk.
Let's respect the intelligence of our viewers.
Of course.
It is not about what you can choose to do. It is what is done.
I can also decide.
It's not what you can. When you go into discussions with IMF, do you go and tell them that I want you to calculate my debt to GDP in pound sterling?
But Randy, why don't you want us to talk about our debt in dollar terms?
Because that is not what is
the
done.
most tradable currency.
No, when they tell me about my debt to GDP, it's not done in dollars.
It is a tradable currency.
Why should I mislead myself?
The city is not tradable to that extent. So what is wrong with?
Is that your currency in Ghana? Is your currency the US dollar?
Oh my God! Of course not.
Yeah, so why do you want to do what you're doing?
What I'm doing?
Yes.
You're not telling me that the figures I'm telling are wrong.
All I'm telling you is
sustainable.
All I'm telling you is that what you are doing, what you are doing is not used in determining the health of Ghana's economy, not by the government of Ghana, not by the Central Bank of Ghana, not by the World Bank, not by the IMF. Do you dispute that?
We are talking about our public debt. Right?
Yes.
And I'm quoting our public debt.
Okay, that's
in the most tradable currency.
That's fine.
I think that it's a prerogative and it's allowed for analysis and comparison.
I used a phrase, institutional insanity. You know,
meaning what?
Simply means that the whole MPP has decided that they will behave, quote unquote, abnormally. You see, the normal.
Well, that's unfair. That's unfair.
But I'm coming to explain. Yes. I'm coming to explain. You see, the whole institution called the MPP has decided that when they see something that everybody knows and sees to be white, they will say black. Insofar as yes, I'm coming to explain. I'm coming to explain. I'm coming to explain what I mean. You see, insofar as they believe it serves a certain purpose. It's one of the reasons why, from day one, I became implacably opposed to Bawumia and dismissed him right in 2016. Was this illogicality and disrespectful falsehood that he introduced into our politics? Even in calculating the 120 billion Ghana cedis debts of 2016, you know what he did? He held the debt up to Kufuor's time constant in terms of the impact of the exchange rate. So he will tell you that they left 9 billion, but the total debt is 120. So we have borrowed 110. It was illogical, did not make sense. Unfortunately, those of you in the media were enchanted by jargons. So when we challenged him, you told us that he was an economic wizard. Now the thing has boomeranged, and he has X all over his face. But even in the face of incontestable reality, he decides that he will bury his head in the sand like an ostrich and continue in the illogical, disrespectful falsehood that he does. So he is able, Randy, he is able to tell you that there's no difficulty with our debt. If the debt moves from 120 billion to 743 billion, it is okay, because in dollar terms it's only 46 billion. Andy, when they were doing the domestic debt exchange, did they not start with domestic borrowers?
Yes.
Domestic lenders, I beg your pardon. Did they borrow those monies in foreign exchange? Check the Bank of Ghana statistical bulletins. At all material times in the last few years, domestic debt has been more than external debt. That is borrowed in local currency. When they go into the Ghanaian financial markets and borrow, like the finance minister does every month, does he do it in dollars or in cedis? Senate pensioners, those who are insisting that they should be paid their bond proceeds, did they lend to government in dollars? The domestic debt is more than half of our national debt as we speak, and that is in cedis. And even in the external debt, which contributes less than half of our debt, you have to find cedis to convert to dollars to be able to pay. So the notion that conveniently you can convert the debt we have into dollars and do comparisons is completely flawed. It is absurd. It is illogical. It is a disrespectful falsehood. And number two, the most worrying thing about debt is not even your debt to GDP ratio, because indeed there are countries that have debt to GDP ratios getting to 200%, but it is not a problem. Because first of all, they borrow at minimal interest rates. Some of them borrow at 0.5%, others at 1%. Yeah. You are borrowing on the international market between 9 and 13%. But more critically, Randy, your ability to service that debt is what determines everything. By 2021, it had become apparent that we were spending close to 92% of all tax revenue on debt servicing. That was when the alarm bells began ringing. They declared bankruptcy and an inability to service debts because of this. What it meant is that if we serviced our debts, there will be nothing left to do anything. That was a time when they reluctantly accepted the IMF's debt restructuring conditionality.
Now, the point I was making to Alhaji was that this 92%, which led to us declaring that bankruptcy or whatever you want to call it, was
in cities.
In cities.
In fact, in the budget, if you check the budget, the appendices, sometimes it's 4A, sometimes it's 3A, depending on where they place it in the budget. You will find that they will indicate how much of our taxes or revenue we are going to use to service debt. And it is indicated in cities because that is what the government of Ghana needs. To convert to dollars in order to service our debt. Even the servicing, the component that requires dollars is simply the external bit. But the domestic bit is serviced in cities. So that whole argument is flawed. You see, it is clever by half. They think they are being smart by trying to do this comparison. So you said, oh, it has increased by only 11 billion. But Randy, it has moved from 120 billion to 743. Anybody who tells you that it is better to owe 743 billion than it is to owe 120 billion is simply insane, Randy, and our means words.
But if we converted it to dollars, we will not be that distressed.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
In fact, everywhere, if our currency,
Randy, if will be healthy.
Randy, if our if our currency was the dollar, we won't be having this discussion because it will not be 46 billion will be very manageable for us.
At all, no problem.
Randy, the same institutional insanity that I speak about, they are able to tell us that they have managed the exchange rate better. And Baumia is the one who leads this chorus. Anybody who tells you that if today you go and exchange the dollar, the CD, for the dollar at 16 to 1, and that is better than doing so at 4 to 1, it's simply insane, Randy. Because you see, when you go to the Forex Bureau, they won't ask you about percentages. Randy, you have to cough up that 16 cedis to get $1. In any event, Randy, even if you do the percentage depreciation, it is bigger than it was in the 8 years of the NDC. And Fuseni is the finance person. Let him do the calculation right now. Whether rate of change or depreciation, which has a different formula, and Fuseni knows it. Randy, they are able to tell us that they have managed this economy better at a time when we have defaulted on our debt. Randy, how is it that when government was in place, it was able to service debts regularly without difficulty? Just about 35% of our revenue was going to debt servicing. You come in, at one point, you needed 92% of your revenue to do the servicing. Now, you can't service at all. So in the last 3 years or so, you have not serviced debt. And you are telling us that that situation is better than what you met. Randy, you have a situation where your credit rating plummeted from B- in 2016 to junk, defaults. And you are saying you've done better. You have a situation where unemployment is 14.7%. They say that is better than it, and he says they've created more jobs. Randy, I won't even bore your ears with the inconsistencies and lies they've been telling. Sometimes it's 5 million, sometimes it's 2 million, sometimes it's 2.1. But me alone has given 3 figures in the last year. Meanwhile, the Ghana Statistical Service has told us that up to 2 million of our youth are without employment. 14.7% is the figure. The highest, perhaps, in our history. And they say they've done better. Institutional insanity, Randy. You see, it is bad enough to have performed poorly. Okay? But there are times when you can admit that, look, I have done poorly, but perhaps give me a chance to do better. But when you tell them in the midst of overwhelming evidence that you've done poorly, that you have done better, you are insulting them on top of the hardships you are taking them through. And that is why Baumia has no credibility. Nobody believes anything he says these days. That's why he has to dance comically in order to let people feel that he is one of them. Because, Randy, if the economy was running at full throttle, that would be his number one message. Because in this election, Randy, the key issues are the economy and unemployment. When you go to the street and you meet people, in my rounds in AAK, those are the things I'm confronted with. From women to youth to the elderly. It is about the economy and unemployment. And Baumia is not responsive to these two. First of all, his record is abysmal. He can't hold it up to scrutiny. The reason why he fled, he has run away completely from the economy. Meanwhile, you and I know that if the economy was working well, that would be his number one campaign message. So when we in the NDC engaged the youth, as we did yesterday on International Youth Day, and you saw that the youth took center stage. One brilliant young person after the other elucidated the problems we have and the solutions that the NDC was offering. And it gives me confidence that the NDC's future and perhaps Ghana's future is quite bright, because we are a conveyor belt of talent. And you heard the young people. These were not old, grumpy men defining the narrative. These were young people, 20-something-year-olds, taking charge and engaging their colleagues on what the issues are. So, Randy, what are the propositions? What are the offerings? President Mahama on various platforms has indicated clearly that the number one priority is fixing the economy, which Bawumia and his colleagues in the MPP have completely destroyed with incompetence, mismanagement, and outright corruption and waste of our resources. Empty, vacant, vacuous sloganeering. That is what they have done in the last few years. President Mahama says he will restore prudence and proper management. He will restore confidence. Randy, the biggest threat to the stability of our currency is loss of investor confidence. The Bank of Ghana itself has said that in the space of 12 months, over $6 billion was spirited out of this economy by disenchanted investors. And that is what led to a plummeting of our currency. Right now, the IMF has asked them to boost the reserves, and they are struggling to meet that commitment. So President Mahama says, even the change in government will send a certain signal to investors that we are ready to do business and that we are ready to chart a new course. So proper economic management with the aim of achieving stability and overcoming the self-inflicted difficulties is topmost on the agenda for President Mahama. And he has articulated this when he met the media, and you were not there, but your colleagues found out what he had in terms of doing that. But immediately following that is the issue of unemployment. And Randy, for young people, when I go to my rounds on AAK, Randy, young person after young person after young person reiterates the dire straits they are in because of unemployment and the lack of incomes. So President Mahama says that unemployment is high on the agenda. He intends to turn this economy into one that runs 24 hours a day. 3 shifts. So a job hitherto done by one person will be done by 3 people. And my brothers here, whose favorite campaign strategy is to dance comically on stages, say that we don't have demand. Andy, I can bet that at least 3 of the things on your body this morning are imported. A country that has the sort of import volumes that we have has more than enough demand to meet any kind of production we can do. The challenge is that we don't have the capacity to produce enough. That's all. Fuseni's glasses are imported. And my shoe is imported. My belt is imported. The shirt I'm wearing is imported. The jacket I'm wearing is imported. Well, these days there are a few people who do these things. But an overwhelming majority of the things that we consume in this country are imported. So if you have that level of import, you cannot speak about not having demand. There is demand that we can't meet, which is the reason why we import. In the advanced countries, who we look up to, they are not that reliant on imports. Many of them are self-sufficient, and they import only in strategic areas. Even then, they make effort over time to bridge the gap. Today, there's a bit of a trade war between America and China over microchips, because they don't want China to have dominance over them in that sector. So they are seeking to close the gap. What has been lacking is a proper incentive and environment. But if your interest rates are at 40%, how would anybody feel incentivized to produce anything? If you have a business, you are a manufacturing concern, let's say a medium-scale manufacturing concern, and you have to go to the bank to borrow at 40%, why would you be encouraged to even pump more into your business? How are you going to expand? Because the moment you do that, you are going to have to pass it on to the consumer. And the consumer is most likely to get that same item imported at a cheaper rate if you discount import duties.
Yeah, Randy.
And if you are importing machinery to boost your production, and you have to pay sometimes twice the amount at which you imported the item, or 1/2, or even sometimes the same amount at which you have imported the item, how are you going to be able to invest? And you need vans for your distribution chain, and you import those vans at breakneck import rates. How are you going to be able to produce? Electricity cost has gone through the roof, Randy. There's no incentive for those in the manufacturing bracket. People engaged in the service sector are having to break their backs just to meet their utility costs, water and electricity. Fuel, Randy, the price of fuel. If your machines depend on fuel to be fired, how are you going to survive in this harsh climate? So President Momo says these things will be taken care of. And there are institutions that he created before exiting power, right? In the Exim Bank, for instance. There you can get money to prop up some of these businesses. By doing that, you create expansion in economic activity, which then requires additional hands. So something that was done by one person has to be done by two people, because the human body can only last so long. 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. That is a concrete measure that you take to ensure that the unemployment issue is addressed. Randy, there are also people who are entrepreneurial in nature. They don't like to work for somebody. They like to work for themselves, which is great. Because at the end of the day, the more entrepreneurs you have, the more businesses you have, which then in itself creates additional employment space. But they require some help. Those in the fintech sector. Randy, President Momo has spoken about a $50 million fintech fund. And there's a man who has created $250 million, $300 million funds. Gives us $250 million per annum. So it is not a $50 million fund that he cannot create. There is a man who left buffers for Bawumia and his charges to come and squander. The sinking fund had in excess of $300 million. The road fund, we left 600 million Ghana cedis in that fund. And the get fund, sorry, I beg your pardon, ESLA. Are you aware that last year they got 7 billion Ghana cedis? This year, they projected to get 9 billion Ghana cedis. If you put all that they've received in the last few years together, it tops 40 billion Ghana cedis. This was created by President Momo. So when he tells you he will create a $50 million fintech fund, you know exactly that the man knows what he is talking about. Right, in the same ICT space, he has spoken about the 1 million coders program. And we see that Bawumia has been quick to plagiarize that. He has been quick to basically repeat the same thing that President Momo says he will do, which then begs the question, what in God's name he is doing in government at the moment? And if 1 million young people are going to be taken through coding, Randy, you are talking of fantastic employment opportunities. He spoke about replicating the Accra Digital Center concept. And the Accra Digital Center, as you see it, if it were running at full throttle, should be able to take 8,000 people running 8-hour shifts 3 times a day. That was the original design. Of course, our friends came and messed it up. But there's hope, because once we take power, we will go back to the original idea. But this will be replicated, at least in the major cities across Ghana. Because ICT is speculating and penetrating every facet of our life. And then he has spoken about how, in the face of these excruciating hardships brought on by Bawumia's mishandling of the economy and mismanagement of the economy, he wants to come to the aid of level 100 university students. And the same arguments that hold true for why there should be free SHS holds in the case of tertiary students. Because it is the same parents whose wards move from SHS level to university level. And ally. So if...
What is the problem that you seek to solve?
The problem is, Arandi, the problem is stems from some of the arguments that our friends have been making. They say that parents cannot afford between 800 to 1,200, which is the fees, yearly fees of SHS students.
That was then, though. What parents are spending now is something.
Yes, no, I'm talking just what government absorbs. What government absorbs, if we were to ring fence the arguments. So if government absorbs between 800 to 1,200 for students, because according to them, their parents cannot pay. Randy, how are those same parents overnight then able to afford between 2,000 and 4,000 Ghana cedis at university level? So the same arguments that hold true for SHS education holds true for university education. And Randy, if you look at it, by virtue of the numbers, currently some educational experts say that we have anything between 120 to 150,000 university students alone. If you add other tertiary students, like those in the technical universities, those in the colleges of education, and other such institutions, we are talking close to 200,000 Ghana cedis. Randy, if we can pay fees for up to 1.2 million people, why should we not be able to do it for 200,000 people? In any event, equity requires that is done. Because there are 3 ranks in the education sector. There's basic education, There's senior high school education, there's tertiary education. This government, for some reason, only think that the only thing that is important in our country's life is SHS education. But we think that there's basic education, there's also tertiary education. So along the entire education value chain, the same opportunities have to be offered. So Randy, if you happen to enter the university as a first year student, and that is often the challenge, really. As I said here, I have been inundated with demands from my constituents for some assistance for them to be able to pay their entry fees. So President Mahama says he will absorb it. And when you do the numbers, even if you use current university populations, we are talking something under 250 million Ghana cedis, which is 10% of what is spent on free SHS. I don't see how anybody who supports free SHS can have a qualm with this one. So if you are a university student, first year student, entering the university and wondering how you are going to be able to pay your fees, President Mahama has come to your aid. He says he will foot that. And the same holds for all tertiary students. The question immediately has arisen as to what will happen once they leave.
Yeah, after first year.
Randy, after first year, the fees reduce substantially. I have been there, so I know. And in that regard, what we call the Students' Loan Scheme Plus, which was something that was introduced in the latter part of President Mahama's administration, will kick into place so that you are then able to fund your education on the back of this. So it is a well-structured, well-thought-out plan.
So you are saying that those who will enjoy this first year thing,
sure,
from the second year, they would have to rely on the student loan.
Student loan plus. So what that means
why can't they start with it?
Because they are about to enter. When you are about to enter, the processes are such that you cannot latch onto it now. So you need to be in there for them to be able to assess you and then be able to do that. Of course, in future, we should be able to do it from the very onset. But at the moment, and Randy, this is being done in the midst of unprecedented economic hardships. The kind of hardships we are facing today have never before happened in our history. Let me remind you once again that a quarter of our population has gone without a food. So a population that cannot afford food on this table will be hard-pressed to cough up between 2,000 and 4,000 Ghana cedis as university fees. So even if you were to consider the economic situation inflicted on Ghanaians by Ghanaians' hopelessness at the head of the economic management team, this is more than justified. So Randy, this will be done amongst other important interventions that we want to undertake. And of course, Randy, you are aware of the governance reforms that President Mahama has spoken about. And again, even the cuts in governmental expenditure. In 2020, over 4 billion Ghana cedis was allocated to the Office of Government Machinery. 4 billion Ghana cedis. President Mahama has made it clear that he will cut the numbers drastically. He says that he will work with 60 ministers and deputy ministers. And all those are amorphous agencies that do nothing beyond replicating the work or duplicating the work of existing agencies will go. And I don't believe that we need a free SHS secretariat to be able to pay fees of senior high schools. The Ghana Education Service perhaps is the most well-established, well-heeled government institution we have. And they've been around for over 80 years. It is not beyond them to coordinate the payment of fees of pupils or students at SHS level, for which reason we need a whole secretariat. And the Ministry of Trade and Industry has been involved in trade facilitation for decades. We don't need a 1D, 1F secretariat to do that. All these are ways that this government has found to drain the public purse of vital resources. And President Mahama says he will consolidate. In some instances, he will merge and realign these agencies so that we make significant savings that we can channel into these important expenditure items like education, tertiary education in this particular instance. So for me, President Mahama offers a clear path to reviving our economy and re-injecting hope in Ghanaians. He offers a clear path to developing our country systematically through well-thought-through policies, not ad hoc, shoot from the hip policies like the NPP is known for doing. They would dance and drum and sing about policies that go no. Randy, where is NAPCO now? NAPCO, where is it?
NAPCO?
Yes.
Maybe Fusen will tell us.
He has no clue where it is now, because the point is that it was thought of hurriedly in the wake of the 2020 elections to deceive the Ghanaian electorate, give false hope to the Ghanaian youth that they were going to get immediate employment. only for them to be thrown onto the street. And really, I'm aware that up to now, or up to this point as I speak to you, thousands of them, if not tens of thousands of them, are still owed arrears. So even the money to pay these people is non-existent. And yet this government said that it created employment. So we believe that more sustainable employment is the way to go. The Ghanaian youth is tired of having to have their hopes raised and dashed as and when politicians, especially in the MPP, feel like it. We believe the time has come for more sustainable employment creation. And that will be done on the back of substantive offerings, like the 24-hour economy, the 1 million Codes program, the FinTech Fund, the 300,000 ICT-related jobs. President Mahama has spoken about a $3 billion investment in ICT. He has spoken about business process outsourcing. He has spoken about knowledge process outsourcing. These are credible, tangible ways that you create employment for a sprawling unemployed mass as we have at this moment. So we believe that these offerings would find favor with the Ghanaian people who already have been buffeted, impoverished, and left anguished by the mismanagement of Bawumia and his colleagues in government.
Right. So Fuzain, let's take a break. The more we return, I would listen to you with rapt attention.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back shortly.
There's no feeling quite like wanting something. You see it when you close your eyes. You feel it against the hairs on your skin. You smell it mingled with the wind. You know it's yours, but you just can't seem to reach it. Until you can. Whatever the dream, we can make it happen. So get out, get started, and make we do our.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Bet, blast, boom! Exclusively on Betway. Win up to 300% more when you play FlyX with Win Boost from Betway. Betway, get way more.
Cratchy, unemu bua unkoisha Dr. Ban uye denwa.
Yala, oh, mesi ya mfano kwa mami buru wa.
Mami do buru. Ni ya telebe ko. Bra, mumi mfano ko Dr. Ban ho.
Dr. Ban o ya die.
Bra, se bani no mpemu adwuma, sasabro slow Dr. Ban oye.
Hey, so ni kemi kwa na meka. Oh, no mpemu ni mdi onu na ye expect nyaza afuo no. O akra eni kumasi no mpemu expect yen kan kireu.
Now let me tell you why you should choose Safari Valley as your conference destination.
The new conference building combines modern amenities with the tranquility of nature, providing the perfect backdrop for your next seminar and corporate retreat.
The only conference destination with so many activities. You don't have to travel to visit your tennis club, the gym, or the stables. They have it all.
Enjoy this rooftop viewing deck, basking in the sunlight with the sight of wild animals roaming freely in their natural habitat.
At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
It's a unique experience that sparks creativity and rejuvenates the mind.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone.
Luck it's missing opportunity to be the luckiest. It's time to put some smile on your face. Still asking what luck means? At Luckiest, we believe it's more than just chance. It's joy waiting to happen.
Let's go.
Dial star 712 hash. Now password to tickets not as a group, individual and as a community. Now participating in the Luckiest from the 1st of July 2024. Grand draw near 30th November 2024. Luck is everywhere with the Luckiest. The Luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform and is not for persons below 18 years. Terms and conditions apply.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Alhaji Fuseni Isa and Felix Kwachi of Fosu. Ayesoko, that goes somebody that be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control of every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. You can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128190550010000. All right, Alhaji, let's hear you.
Yeah, Randy. I have listened to my friend Felix here with rapt attention. And then, if I didn't know the NDC or know John Dramani Mahama or have not lived under his stewardship of this economy and this country, I did think that I was speaking to the Pope. Fortunately, I have lived under his stewardship. His legacy or his record is there for all of us to see. This is a man who oversaw the Ghanaian economy growing at the rate of 3.7% in 2016. This is what we inherited. This is a man who oversaw an economy and a currency that was depreciating averagely by about 17% between 2013 and 2016. This is a man who today is promising that when you get admission to level 100 in public universities, he's going to waive all the, is it academic user facility fee or tuition fee, one of them, whatever it is. This is a man who, in another breath, is telling us that he is going to review free SHS to the extent that private schools are going to be brought under the umbrella of free SHS. So I'm not too sure about the consistency of the policy. Whether you take off private institutions at the tertiary level, include them at the free SH level, I am not too sure what the policy is. But let's delve further into this policy. I recollect President John Dramani Mahama telling us that he was not going to do free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician. On a whimsical promise of a desperate politician. He is not going to do free SHS because such policies in other countries have not done too well. This is the man today who has the effrontery to look us in the face and tell us that he's going to waive up fees when you go to level 100 in public universities. Where lies the consistency? Is this a man to be trusted? I won't trust him. I will not vote for such a man. This is a man who told us that if he had 2 billion cedis, he would not invest in free SHS like the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government has done. That has benefited 5.7 million Ghanaians, who today, some of who, I read something last week, that the law faculty at Legon, for the first time, had recorded over 20 first-class students in the faculty. All products of free SHS. All of them. And what are you saying? That today, you who spoke against us, a party that came out to sponsor adverts against free SHS, today, they are telling us that beyond free SHS, they are going to waive off fees for students who qualify through the system. In any case, they have told us time without number. They will review this free SHS policy that has been in place since 2017. In fact, when it comes to the argument of free SHS, I really don't know where the NDC stands and where they get their confidence to even talk about free SHS. Recollect, NPP did not start preaching free SHS to the Ghanaian populace in 2017. We had gone to elections in 2008, preaching free SHS. We did same in 2012. And then 2017, when we got the opportunity, at the first accent, in September 2017, we rolled out the policy because of the belief we had in there. Our opponents, what did they do? Rather than support such a policy, they sponsored adverts. They ran up to 2016 elections, they ran up to 2012 elections. Today, what are they telling us? That they are going to go beyond it and ensure that students or products of the free SHS have access to public universities. At the same event yesterday, I chanced on, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I chanced on a segment where they were saying that they were going to incorporate private schools into free SHS. So I'm wondering why they're leaving out private universities. Today, our universities have gone beyond. When I was in university, there were no private universities in Ghana. Some 25 years ago. We only had Tech, Cape, and of course, Legon at the time. And so policies revolved around public universities. Today, the system is different. Even within public universities, there are options of fee pay, where you end up having 2 students in the business school and the medical school or in the law school, doing the same course. But one is a fee paying option, one is a regular student. I don't know which this policy applies to, whether it's going to be with a fee paying option or with the regular students. I am not too clear. The argument about free SHS that some Ghanaians have been making over time are saying, well, if I can afford to pay the fees of my wards in school, if I've paid their fees through private schools from class 1 probably to JHS 3, why can't I pay the fees when they get into senior high school? That's been the argument. And that I can do it. So if I can do it, why should government take up the way?
Yes.
And the argument has been that let's do means testing. We have held the view that, look, at the time, doing means testing in Ghana was going to be problematic because you can't even identify who the parents are, what they do, where they live, their levels of income or not. Thankfully.
How are you able to determine LEAP beneficiaries?
Oh, of course, it's you go make those inquiries and all of that. But obviously, when you talk of LEAP, there's some age limit to LEAP. Not everybody. Or when you talk of people with disabilities, I mean, it's very obvious things that you can verify. Means testing is being one of the arguments that the proponent or the people that have argued against free SHS and the cost and quality and whatnot have used in this country. Is the NDC going contrary to what they have preached over the years? Where lies the consistency? If I didn't know President John Dramani Mahama, former President John Dramani Mahama, I would have believed all that they were saying yesterday. What happens after level 100? It's a very good question. Don't forget, we have moved away from points. I recollect when I got into Legon back in 1996, I had to get my father to go to Senate to do tampering together with some of his colleagues for me to qualify for a student loan. Thankfully, the digitalization man, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, and the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo today, because we have identity cards and students can be identified throughout their lives, you don't even need a guarantor. And so, if this policy was well thought through with an admission letter, of course you are issued an admission letter before you pay your fees. It should be possible. If this policy was thought through well, you don't have to get onto campus before you are able to get into it. So yesterday I listened on and off, but with this particular policy, these are the flaws of it. And for people who consistently have spoken against free SHS, consistently, who in 2015 thereabout, because I don't know why they wanted to get into the act of promoting this policy, made some budgetary allocation to just fool. I didn't know what the intent was, whether to mislead the rest of us in the budget, made some budgetary allocation, which was with some half-hearted approach. Today, they are telling us that they were the people who actually proposed and implement free SHS. But what we have done on this policy alone, since 2017, I don't think that the NDC has the effrontery to come and tell us today, Ghanaians, that they are going to pay for the whether academic user fee or whether tuition fee for first year entrance into university. Look, in other arguments, they have told us that, look, the youth of Ghana today are unemployed because we have created access to free SHS, they finish free SHS, and there is no access into tertiary institute, or there are no jobs. Have they thought about jobs after universities when these guys graduate? Have they? Well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's wait for the details of what. But for what I saw yesterday, I'm thinking that this thing is something that they want to throw some dust into our eyes. In any case, I've heard the argument that, oh yes, we are going to fund this by cutting the budget to the Office of Government Machinery to make resources available to fund this proposition. Look, Randy, the Office of Government Machinery is not something that is static. When we came into power in 2017, we have created certain institutions, like the Free SHS Secretariat that Felix mentioned. Yes, it's directly under the Office of the President. And so the budget adds up to the budget of the Office of the Government Machinery. So if this institution did not exist in a previous government, it means that comparing the budget like to like, it's a non-starter because the structures are different. The structures are different. And so for you to say and use absolute figures, let's look at the content. Let's drill down. See how many institutions are under the Office of the President, what they are doing. Is a way to look at some of these things. Look, President John Dramani Mahama, back to the issue of access to the creation of access to students post-free SHS. He had told us that, look, if he had resources, and he mentioned explicitly, if he had 2 billion cedis, he would not spend it on free SHS. I'm wondering why he's seeking to spend 300 million on tertiary institutions or tertiary education. Randy, when I was member of parliament,
repeat that again.
He said, if he had 2 billion cedis that we had spent on free SHS at the time, he wasn't going to spend it on secondary education.
So you said something else. I wanted to check the correlation.
I'm wondering, how come he's going to spend about 300 million? The figures I'm hearing, they
300 million and 2 billion. What was the correlation?
The correlation is that this is a man who will not invest in secondary education to that extent. That has benefited 5.7 million students. I'm wondering how many students are going to benefit from the 300 million. That's the people who qualify to get into university and who wants to go to university. We have said, and we are creating options for people post-free SHS. We are saying, look, we are going to get a curriculum, right, aligned to the needs of the 4th industrial revolution. And that's what we are going to do. Get people to be thinkers. Identify opportunities. And I keep saying, look, the great nations of this world today, in the US and China, creativeness is what is driving these economies. Because people are creative, they create businesses, they expand. And that is what pushes and grows these economies. And it's not the normal things that we have done over time that have not served us very well. So if I didn't know John Dramani Mahama, and yesterday from the expose, access to free SHS, access to university education and all of that, I would have believed him. But from what I know of this man, for what he has said about education, about secondary education, I doubt the sincerity to which he's doing it. But then again, he's told us that within electioneering, you say things that will get the voter to have some likening to you and cast their vote for you. So if today he is going around saying things just to be able to get the minds of the Ghanaian voter, in any case, again, he has told us that Ghanaians have short memories. So it is a case that he says it today, we go around, we vote for him, he comes into power, and then he does nothing. He does nothing. This is a man who presided over an economy growing at 3.7% when they had no COVID, when they had no Russia and Ukraine challenges, when they had no such challenges. In living memory, there has not been a time when economies or the global economy has been challenged like we saw in 2020. So for us to have been able to steer this economy to an extent that for every relevant year, the economy grew positively, including in 2020 when we grew this economy by 0.5%. Including in 2020 when we grew this economy by 0.5%. I'm wondering what the NDC could have done under those circumstances, given their record prior to 2017. If I didn't know them, I would have taken their word for it, and I've gone to their polls to vote for them. Thankfully, I have lived under them. These are the people who presided over years of doomsday that saw our industries collapse. In the face of all of this, these numbers are verifiable. We've created more jobs. And they are verifiable. Go to Snitch today. Go to Snitch. It's true. Ideally, we would have loved for every young person who is willing and able to work in Ghana, get employment. But these are the challenges. And those challenges are things that are, we have alluded to these challenges. We've had to manage this economy under very, very difficult situations. No country in this world has been spared the effects of either COVID or Russia-Ukraine war or the global economic meltdown within the last 8 years, especially from 2020. Prior to 2020, we saw what we were doing for this economy. In the face of all of this, we've built more roads than ever before by any government. We've completed 1,600 projects under the development authorities. We have sustained our lights on in the face of all the PPA and the IPP contracts that we met. We've restored teachers' training allowance, we've restored nursing training allowance, and all of that. The good people of Ghana are going to see the good works that we have done under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And we are saying, and I will say again, that look, the challenges that a new patriotic party in government had to contend with in 2017 are going to be very different from what we will contend with in 2025. In any case, for all the nice policies that former President John Dramani Mahama is telling us today, this man has had the opportunity before. He's been vice president before. He's been president before. He's been president before. Why did he think of all of these policies then? Did he need Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to come and push for SHS to benefit 5.7 million Ghanaians before he thought about the provision of access into tertiary institutions? I don't know about this. For what I know is that we, given the headwinds that the new patriotic party under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had to contend with since 2017, we have built a solid foundation that will give us opportunity. And I believe that the Ghanaians who are watching us this morning from everywhere, and the Ghanaians who will be hearing our messages in the next 4 months, are going to take us serious. And they are going to cast their votes for us to win come December 7th.
Randy, that is only on condition that Ghanaians wash their faces upwards. You know, you have laid, you have laid, of course, I watched it downwards. And I know that is what every normal, rational human being does. Except, of course, you are afflicted by the bag of institutional insanity. Randy, you have laid a solid foundation for the economy, I suppose. So that foundation is one of debt default. You can't pay your debt. That is a great foundation. The one who was paying the debt regularly didn't have a foundation. Randy, he says that they have done well in the management of the economy. In the last 3 years, they have delivered 3 consecutive double-digit budget deficits. 12%, 12%, 12%. They hold a record of the lowest ever growth rates in our history, 0.4%. Right? Last year's growth rate was... No, I beg your pardon. My brother. Oh, I kept quiet when you spoke. I kept quiet out of deference to you. And I know that you are a gentleman's gentleman, so I'm surprised about this interruption. Randy, point me to any country in the world that has the sort of economy we have post-COVID. Why the US? They were not. In fact, they lost 1 million human beings. 1 million. And given the robustness of their healthcare system, if they lost 1 million, it means that the impact of COVID was grave. And their inflation didn't go anywhere near 10%. They recorded. Oh, I beg your pardon. No. They didn't go anywhere near 10%. Even your peers. UK did. Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay, so you did 10%. You did 54%. 54. And the level of COVID in UK, if it ever afflicted Ghana, our country will collapse. You simply don't even have the systems in place to deal with it. COVID was very mild on you. And the RPS, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Nigeria, even lowly Guinea, afflicted by political instability, didn't post the horrible results that you posted. COVID for you was a pretext to misbehave economically. You squandered our money, wasted it on electioneering. And then recorded a deficit of 15%, the highest in our history. That is what led us into the precipice. It was not COVID. Cote d'Ivoire. When Akufo-Addo was campaigning, he and Baumia, their favorite comparator was Cote d'Ivoire. To the extent that he even demanded that electricity prices in Ghana should be the same as Cote d'Ivoire. So let's use Cote d'Ivoire as a comparator. And Cote d'Ivoire, they didn't have COVID. Or Cote d'Ivoire, they are en masse. Togo, Benin. As when they even paid rent for their citizens at the height of COVID. They didn't record the disastrous economic numbers. So Baumia, as head of the economic management team, has been a washout. The worst in our history. Total disaster. Catastrophic performance. So the idea that you even attempt to compare him with Mahama is a huge joke. Check Mahama's economic record, both as president and as vice president. And Mohammed's economic growth in 2013 was 7.2%. 7.2. Even when we had to do so, his economic record never slipped below 3% in terms of growth rates. He never recorded the sort of deficits we've recorded. And he resolved doing so before he left. You have inherited 40 billion Ghana cedis funds in ESLA. If Mahama had that kind of money, if previous governments had that kind of money, do you know what difference it would have made? You inherited a gas plant that saves you $300 million in fuel imports, and yet you were able to plunge us into doomsday for months. And as I speak, they owe more than 30 billion Ghana cedis to IPPs and other stakeholders in the energy sector. After getting 40 billion Ghana cedis in ESLA, Mahama didn't have that kind of debt when he was president in the energy sector. You have received close to 1 trillion cedis in the total resource envelope. Bawumia was the one who was going around telling Ghanaians, Randy, revenue, both tax and non-tax, borrowing, and every means through which government gets money, gold, oil, diamond, everything that we get, close to 1 trillion. I beg your pardon. That is inflation. You know it. It's not real GDP. You know it. We can go into that, but this is not the plan. Oh, let me make my point. I beg your pardon. But in terms of raw revenue, how much money has come into your kitty? Bawumia was going around telling Ghanaians that we had 248 billion in the 8 years of the NDC. You've had 5 times that. And yet the outcomes are that we are bankrupt. We can't pay our debts. Even at a time when you are not servicing debt, your exchange rate is the worst in our history. At a time when you are not servicing debt, your interest rate is at 40%. Your deficit double digit for 3 consecutive years. In any event, all the noise that you make about what is your highest growth rate, just around 8%. Even then, on the back of substantial work done by the NDC, as predicted by the IMF in November of 2016, President Mohammed's highest growth rate is 14.4%.
Oh, please, come on.
I beg your pardon, come on what? Come on what? When Bawumia, I beg your pardon, when Bawumia was touting. Oh, I beg your pardon. Let me make my point. Did we not record 14.4% in our history?
It wasn't sustainable.
No, what was sustainable? You did 8%. I beg your pardon.
It was first oil. It was first oil.
I beg your pardon. Fuseni, the 8% that you did, was it not on the back of an 80% growth in oil production?
We have shown.
I beg your pardon.
17, 18, 19.
I beg your pardon. Why? From 20 to now, is it my grandmother's pet who was managing the economy? So what do you mean 17, 18, 19? 2019 to now. Is the dog down the streets there that has been managing the economy? So what happened to that? Or your tenure ended in 2019. President Mahama, when you use 8 years to assess him, why? He is not a human being. Or the blood that flows through his veins is blue.
Sustainability.
What's sustainable? Randy, in 2010, before oil production, we grew by 8%. In 2013, we grew by 7%. In 2012, we grew by 9.2%. All achievements of President Mahama. He was first the head of the economic management team. Your talkative Bawumia, the highest he's achieved is 8%. The lowest is 0.4%. The worst in our history. So there's no way, there's no indicator, not one, in which you've done better than President Mahama. And you've done that on the back of 3 oil fields. In 2016, and at a point we were doing just 70,000 barrels of oil a day because of difficulties with the oil field. Today, you have 200,000 barrels of oil a day.
With no difficulties, no challenges.
Why? That 1 trillion that Ghanaians have given you. Ghanaians were not paying the COVID levy under us. They were not paying e-levy. I beg your pardon. They were not paying e-levy. They were not paying e-levy.
Without oil.
Ghanaians didn't
without
get
oil.
You didn't. We didn't get 9 billion. I beg your which without oil? After the non-oil growth under the NDC, it was 8% in 2010. 8%, equivalent to your 3 oil field growth in 2017. But our highest growth with oil, just 1 field, was 14.4. Your highest is 8. Since then, it's been declining to 0.4. The worst in our history.
It was first oil.
Which one is first? But which one is first oil, Randy? The total amount of first oil we got, when you put everything together, the highest level of production was 120,000. Today, with 3 fields, you get 200,000. So at 120,000, we grew at 14.4. And in 2008, like I'm telling you, you recorded that because there was an 80% increase in oil production. 80% increase in oil production, above what you came to meet. And since then, it's been declining. Randy, COVID has not been around for 4 years now. So it cannot be blamed. No. It is your mismanagement, your deliberate waste, your deliberate waste. When you were borrowing by heart, when the minority was telling you that you were reaching critical point by 2019, you kept on saying that you were managing the economy well. By 2020, it boomeranged in your face. By 2021, you were using 92% of your revenue to service debt. In 2016, we used 35%. So it means that we had about 65% space.
10.8.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. But that's double digits. Is it? No, it's not true. That's your below the line item. It must be dismissed now.
You see,
you cannot choose and pick. I beg your pardon. Please. Oh, Randy, it is not true. Randy, it is not true. Randy, it is not true.
There was no point
it is not true.
SOE debt.
Fuseni, you are interrupting me. You are interrupting me unfairly. I kept quiet for you. Randy, it is not true.
Felix, just hold on one minute.
Contingent liabilities have always added to our debt.
Below the debt, they're below the line.
It's not SOE debt.
Was it SOE debt?
It wasn't just SOE debt. It even included
the banking sector.
It was a conscious decision.
Easy.
Randy, let me make my point.
I just want to.
When I do a budget, right? When I do a budget, let me explain. Let me explain why.
SOE debt.
It was
the below the line had nothing to do with SOE.
And I'm saying I have gone beyond to tell you.
Do you agree?
It included the banking sector cleanup. The banking sector
cleanup. Who put the gun to
the banking sector cleanup, right, was not an everyday.
Let's try and respect our viewers.
Charlie,
you made the claim. You said that the below the line was SOE debt.
When you say I should respect your viewers, you know me. I mean, when you keep saying that, as if I'm disrespecting your viewers.
No, that's what you're doing.
That is not me.
No, that's what you're doing.
That is not me. I don't think so.
Look, people are watching.
Come on.
You might not have intended doing that, but that's what you're doing.
Come on.
By disrupting me, that's what you're doing. That's why I kept quiet.
No.
Oh yes, I kept quiet.
No, because see,
if
I were watching the show, and I heard you, the assumption I'll make is that the below the line had to do with SOE debt. It had nothing to do with SOE debt.
Randy, in any event,
let's move.
Randy, it's not. Oh, I beg your pardon.
I thought.
Let me make my. I think we said you have to be fair to me.
No, I don't think we've cleared.
You have to be fair to me.
Do you insist that below the line was SOE debt?
I am saying that when I do a budget, right?
I will include. This Randy is starting to waste our time, Randy.
Below
the Randy. That's why I said. You see, Randy.
Below the
Randy.
Extraordinary items.
Which was Randy? Randy, in 2000, Randy, in 2008, Randy, it's not true. In 2008, if you check the final budget of the MPP, they captured the one-off expenditure on resolving Dumso. It was an extraordinary event. It started between 2007 and 2008. It was not the case all the 8 years they were in power. Now lie. In under us, that too was an extraordinary event because it was a space of about 2.5 to 3 years out of 8 years. So that's why I've been talking about institutional insanity the whole day. The very things that we all know to be true, the MPP says no. You arrogate to yourself the right to hide some expenditure so that your books will look better than they actually are. That is what has caught up with you. Randy, it's not the first time that the IMF has classified the SOE debt as part of government debt. They do it all the time. Anytime they do their DSE, it is there, black and white. So it's not the first time. SOE debt has formed part of our debt, but your approach to governance is telling lies, cooking figures, doing things that are out of the ordinary in order to appear better than you actually are. And yesterday I heard Napo repeat what President Akufo-Addo says a lot, that they've built more. Randy, which schools? Which schools have they built more than the NGC? How many secondary schools have they built? Randy, tell me. How many?
I don't know.
We started 123. We finished 50 before leaving. How many secondary schools have they built? No. How many secondary schools have you built? Don't laugh. How many? Just state it off the top of your head. Randy, basic schools. Read the Education Watch reports that Kofi Asare and his colleagues compiled. Randy, when they started, they also said they were going to do a schools under trees project. By 2021, they had completed only 17%. Only 17, actually, 17. And we did close to 3,000. Yesterday, I actually heard Napo also say that, Randy, they built more universities. Randy, do you recall any university the MPP has established or built? You recall any off the top of your head? Established. Even an old one that they they converted to a university.
This thing.
You will struggle. There's one that
the Dombo one.
Right. In UDS, then you have it. UDS, and you name Randy. You name. Oh.
That
is previously known as Kumasi Polytechnic. That's all. Rename.
Let me make a point here.
Oh, I beg. Which point? I'm on the floor. Randy, see how you are struggling. Okay, Randy. Now tell me the universities the NDC has established.
The resources one in.
So many.
No, the BA one.
The BA one, University of Energy and Natural Resources. The so many one, University of Environment and Sustainable Development, UHAS.
Yes.
UDS.
Yes.
Yet Napo was telling us yesterday that they have built more universities than the NDC. Institutional insanity, Randy. Or what we know to be the case, they say no, it is not the case because we believe it to be so.
Or maybe then Unimac.
Which
GIJ.
Oh, I beg. So you go and change the name of GIJ and NAFTI. Randy, you don't know more about GIJ than myself.
Hey, Randy.
NAFTI, the one near the former South African embassy on the road to the bank hospital.
Yes.
When I was deputy minister, I went there to preside over their graduation a number of times. And this was in 2015.
No, I'm saying that the three institutions have come together to form Unimac.
I beg, Randy. I beg.
He
says they've built, right? He says they have built. They have built. If you've built that, you've established a new university. So how many secondary schools have they built, Randy? Do you know? So when you tell me that you've built more schools than the others, exactly what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Randy? Me, I have a list here. I can list secondary schools that we are talking secondary schools.
The ministry did a fair or something recently.
Which fair?
Touting
what? Randy, touting what? So for saying there's a challenge. Randy, 7-day community day senior high school. It's in Abasi. Them community day senior high school.
We won't have time for that.
Okay, great.
See, Randy.
So,
Randy, this whole argument.
No, look out.
This whole argument.
I kept quiet.
This whole argument.
Randy,
No.
But they also say, Randy, they also say, Randy, they also say they've built more hospitals. Randy, which hospitals? Which hospitals?
Formina
yesterday.
Formina was.
Why Formina? What does Ahufa don't know about Formina?
Afari.
No, Afari. What does Ahufa don't know about Afari?
What? What do you mean?
What does he know about Afari? Even we who got the actual funding in 2014.
You got what?
Oh, please. I don't want to say keep quiet. It will sound rude, but please, Randy. Afari, we got the funding in 2014 when they signed the contract in 2008 with Eurojet. Not a dime dropped in until 2014 when we issued bonds to start the. By the time they came into power, Afari was over 80% complete. What does Ahufa know about Afari? Randy, Formina is part of the NMS projects. The one at what do you call it? Kwewu, Abetifi is part of the NMS project. Same as Dodowa. Same as the one in Kumewu. And what have you? So what hospital are they talking about? The so-called Agenda 111, which of them have they completed, Randy? Since 2020, when we
have built a hospital in Akontombra.
Randy, those was 2013. Randy. Please, Randy. Oh, Fuseni. But why are you shouting yourself?
No, but you are telling me that there are 20 beds.
I'm putting you to a 650-bed hospital in the Goya. You are telling me a 20-bed hospital.
I can give you.
Randy, so when you tell me that you've built, Randy, when you tell me that you've built more hospitals than me, I am showing you teaching hospitals. I am showing you regional hospitals. And you said you built a 20-bed hospital at Contombra. So you built more hospitals than us. What kind of logic is this? What kind of logic is that?
The logic is that we have built
Randy,
a polyclinic there. We've done in Oduma. We've done in Botima. We've done in Adenta. All of those are polyclinics.
All those.
We started and completed.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Randy. All those hospitals he's talking about. The money came from Raiffeisen Bank in Austria in 2016. You know nothing about that hospital.
No.
Which you were in Parliament at the time.
No.
Which knows?
No.
Why? So you don't know. You are even on the finance committee.
I was in Parliament in 2016, but I can tell you.
You are not in Parliament. Okay, fine, no problem.
I can tell you.
No problem.
I can tell you.
Who's
facility.
It's not true. It is not true. It is not true.
In 2017.
Randy, it is not true.
In 2017. And I'm telling you the hospital.
Randy, let me show you the date.
And you see, let me tell you something.
Fuseni, please. What you are doing is not unfair.
But you have more time than
what more time?
3 times more than I have.
No. Is it Randy? He's intentionally disrupting.
Randy, don't be unfair to me.
Yeah, you're intentionally. He's intentionally doing it.
I never stopped you from speaking.
You are intentionally doing it, and I kept quiet throughout.
I never stopped you.
offer a whimper.
You ended your submission.
Randy, I didn't offer a whimper. So the hospitals they are talking about is a huge joke with the greatest. Randy, look,
no,
the
for
polyclinic.
To say
the polyclinic.
It's a disrespect
Randy,
to the people who are benefiting from it.
Randy, it is not disrespect. You are the one disrespecting.
But we are built to this hospital.
Randy, you are built what? Randy, let me tell you something. Look, Randy.
And you are saying
Randy,
they are not hospitals. What
if
are
you
they?
go to the central region and Greater Accra, all the 5 you mentioned, plus 10. There's one at Brewa in Gumwa, the Rampon. I went to cut the sword with President Mahama in 2016. Randy, there are 15 polyclinics. Each of them is about 30 beds. It is bigger than some of the things they are mentioned at Contemporary and elsewhere. And those are polyclinics. Randy, the Kaswa Polyclinic is an 80-bed facility. It's actually bigger than some of the things they are passing off as district hospitals lately. So when President Mahama tells you they build more, it's not telling you. Randy, all those things are small hospitals that come nowhere near the kind of things that we are talking about. Why? Somebody has built a teaching hospital. 650-bed hospital, and you say you built one. So why did you build it? No, did you build that hospital?
Who built it?
No, did you build that hospital?
Because I was in Parliament.
Did you build that hospital?
Facility.
Which phase 2? Randy,
and
again,
we operationalized UGMs.
Randy, again.
We
Randy,
operationalized UGMs.
What do you mean?
Without the phase 2 funding that we did, UGMC today will not be what it is, and cannot run the things that they are doing today. Let me tell you something.
The phase 2 that they talk about, when they speak about phase 2 and you don't know, you think that you will go there and see another extension of the hospital. The only thing infrastructure related to that $48 million thing that they call phase 2 is an 8-unit bungalow for doctors and health workers. Let me tell you.
The power supply to the facility.
Randy.
Power supply. I mean generator.
Not 2 generators. 2 generators. Randy, let me make my point.
And I'm saying that.
Randy, let me make my point.
My point is
Randy,
that
if you go there today,
without the phase 2 funding,
Randy, it is not true.
That facility would not have been operationalized.
So Randy, what do you mean?
Because it cannot run without those power units.
So you built it.
No, so you built the facility.
Randy, so you built it.
I was part of the committee that worked on that.
Randy,
so I know.
Randy,
what I'm saying.
Randy, so you built it.
Without that facility,
Randy,
UGMC as we know today would not.
Randy, it is not true. It is not true.
It is true.
Oh, let me.
It is true.
You will be allowed for me to even speak. And you are telling me it's not Randy. That facility, it was designed as a 1,000-bed facility. There are 8 buildings. 8. They've not added one more. They've not added one more. It's 8 buildings. By the time they came, and they have what they call clinics in the hospital. So various departments. There's a simulation center that revolves around the use of ICT. That is some of the things that the 48 million went into. I will show you pictures of the hospital setup by September 2016. Anybody watching me can go on my Facebook page.
Without power.
Without power. It was your minister who was lying that there was no power. Meanwhile, there were 2 large capacity generators sitting on that facility. And yet, they have not operationalized it.
Even the
Randy, but even then,
there was no connectivity.
You see, Randy, they are even wasting our time with this sort of argument. How do you tell me that? So you
were there.
Randy,
I'm telling you that we did the phase 2.
Randy, what is phase 2?
So
Randy, what is phase 2? What was phase 2? What is phase 2?
Provision of power.
Where's the provision of power?
What a huge joke.
Oh, we built a substation.
Randy, what a huge joke.
A substation.
What a huge joke.
No, I want to understand.
I'm saying that, and I recollect that we got a facility that made sure that the needed infrastructure was put in place.
Right, what's needed infrastructure? What's infrastructure?
How much I can't recollect.
Right, well, it's $48 million.
But I remember.
Randy, $48 million.
I was there when it was done.
$48 million.
To ensure that it's operationalized. So how can you?
No, but you say you built it. And that, Randy, they say that. Randy, tell me. They said that we built phase 1. They built phase 2. That's what they say.
Why not?
Randy, they said they built phase 2. When you put a power plant or a substation there, have you built phase 2?
But you built a hospital and did not operationalize.
It's not true.
You did it.
It is your petty politics. Look, it is your petty.
You did it.
It is your
petty.
Randy,
for money to know that.
By 5th December, that hospital has been commissioned. And I have challenged viewers. You see, you are disruptive. The reason why you are disruptive is that you know you are not telling the truth. If you know you are telling the truth, just keep quiet for 2 minutes and let me speak. When you come and challenge me with superior facts. And I'm telling you that by September, that hospital has been well stocked. They had world-class facilities. On December 5th, President Obama commissioned it. We left power when? Barely a month after that. When you come and you have to connect power, you don't come and tell me you build phase 2. It is a huge joke.
Connection of power would have cost 48.
We have a Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Today, which facility have you completed that comes anywhere close to this one? So that claim that you, Randy, they even say, Baumia also says that they built more airports. I beg your pardon, Randy. They said they built more airports. Randy, which airports? Which airport has Bamia built? You tell me. We have done the whole airport.
We've done Tamale.
You've done Tamale with what? Again,
we
you were
have
in
done
Parliament.
Kumasi.
You were in Parliament for some time. You've done what?
Kumasi.
Randy, again. Randy,
We've
last
done
week.
Kumasi. Then again, I was going to make a point.
Randy, but
when I was in university,
Randy, I think that is fair.
The population of University of Ghana was 10,000.
Randy, I think it is fair.
We didn't build a new university.
But of course, but you can't come and say you built facilities. So you can never say you built. So you can't say you built the University of Ghana.
Randy. So if you don't build a new university, can you improve and double or sometimes triple the population?
The Airport.
The person who didn't do anything.
So
you've expanded facilities. What is something you will do?
So if you have expanded facilities,
just say so. That's all. Don't say you built new airports. It's a lie.
But I am telling
airports.
You,
Randy, airports.
We are not saying that we build
Kumasi, you see, and Randy, the reason why Randy, and the reason why again,
when he asked about the airports,
Randy,
built new airports.
Randy, the reason why
Tamale, what was their contribution to Tamale?
Randy,
what was their
let me tell you the contribution. You see, if only you will keep quiet for me to do it, because you know you are not telling the truth, you want to disrupt. Randy, let me tell you something. Tamale, there was what they built is a terminal building, a relatively small terminal building. Okay?
But
that airport,
still a great
absolutely, fantastic, no problem. But there was a first phase which made it an international airport.
Oh.
Why? When a plane left Tamale. No. Right? When a plane left Tamale together, what was it?
Made it.
Yes, but that is what it is. You don't know that. Even in Kumasi.
So you have to take credit for it.
But why? I should give credit to you. Randy, you see, we didn't need you. Randy, we didn't need you. Randy, we didn't need you. Randy, we did not need you to authorize UGMs. It was your pettiness. Randy, it was your pettiness.
That's too much noise.
We did Kumasi.
I think the debate.
No, we are talking airport. We did Kumasi.
Because he would allow it. He knows he's not telling the truth, so he will allow it.
Doc, you know I'm not chaotic.
So then let me speak. Then let me have my turn so that you come in.
There's too much chaos. If I were watching TV,
Randy, you have got yes.
I won't be.
It's to say this first. Randy, you brought the situation across. Randy, Tamale, it became an international airport under President Mama because he invested money, $100 million into that airport. Even the phase 2, Randy, it was a turnkey project. The contractor is the one who did the financial arrangement. He brought a bank, a $55 million facility from a bank called Banco Santander, which is a Spanish bank. Everything was done. Then the contractor came back and said that, look, I've run into difficulty with this bank. So now I'm going to HSBC. It is a British bank. Then they got an additional $4 million from the UK Export Development Agency because it was a UK bank financing it. So they only replaced the source of the funding. That's all. But it was not the contractor who did the financial arrangements. In Kumasi, and see, Randy, last week there was one of them here who was claiming that we were inflating projects. He claimed that Ethiopia built 4 airports for $64 million. Remember that lie?
I corrected him. That was extension already.
Yes, institutional insanity. That's what they knew they were lying. Randy, the Kumasi terminal cost about $120 million. So the first question you need to ask that if Ethiopia was able to build 4 airports for $64 million, why are they building just a terminal for $120 million? But even then, the first part of the money, the first part of the money, which is about $75 million, was money that President Mahama found, had it approved. He cut the short. The project was going to be done by the same contractor who did the KJTR market. When they came in, then they continued with the financing for the second phase, which was around $65 million. So that thing you see there has significant NDC contribution. It is in fact an NDC project. That is what it is.
Like with significant.
You understand me? So when they go about Randy, and then there is Tematu in Pakadan.
You don't agree?
Randy. Then there is Tematu in Pakadan, which I hear Baumia claims that they've done more real. What's real? There's the Kojokrom Takradi secondary rail line. 17 kilometers.
I use this airport.
17 kilometers. Please, we use. There's a 5 million. Fuzeni, there's a 5 million terminal.
Launch your campaign.
There's a 5 million passenger terminal.
Excellent.
At Kotoka. 5 million passenger terminal at Kotoka, built by President Mahama. So yes, this is a significant addition to our aviation infrastructure. But if you pitch this against what President Mahama done, Bahamia comes across as a joke. With a greater respect to him. So don't even
like
waste
the one
our time.
You built in the water.
Why? But that is a full airport. Yes. But President Mahama has small airports. He has massive airports. What do you have? And real life, they come to meet the Tema. The Tema to oppose a more real project. $398 million found, signed, secured. In fact, on November 18, 2016, the contract was signed with Afcon's Infrastructure Limited to execute the project. So all that Akufo-Addo had to do actually was to do nothing and let the contract go on. Yet Bawumia says that it is their project, so they've done more real. Another lie, Randy, and that lie about roads. Because of time, I will defer it to another time when I come. I will give you budget documents that show that it's a blatant lie. They've not done more roads than anybody. It is not true. In fact, as for my AAK, there's not even one single third road there. Not one. The only third road in AAK is from Mori Junction to Mori Roundabout, asphalted, done under President Mahama. So which roads are you talking about? And if you go on the Afrenwa-Twabo-Dunka road in AAK, you will be shocked at the deplorable state of that road.
But AAK is not the only place in Ghana.
So yes, but I can use that because I'm very familiar with the terrain. Not one road in the last 8 years under this government. And yet they say they've done more roads than anybody. But I've told you that as for the roads, I'm prepared for a major debate on it. So I will come here next time with documents to show you that it's a lie that President Akufo-Addo has been singing. And this is a government that has collected 1 trillion cedis in the resource envelope. Their offerings are running water. Just one project, the Kwan Water Project, serves over 700,000 people. The desalination plant, which serves the eastern part of Accra, 500,000 people. If you tell me one project that comes anywhere close, that is even if they have one water project to finish. In fact, you know that Suleiman Abrahima.
Those are the lies.
Suleiman Abrahima.
Those are the.
This week he has been on the neck of Dr. Amin Anta, the finance minister, for going to make claims about projects whose monies have even not come. So even the infrastructure debate, and it's curious that suddenly the MPP finds the infrastructure debate useful. The same people who were telling us in opposition that infrastructure is not what we eat when we began projecting what we were doing in that arena. Because the economy has crashed, now they find a way to infrastructure. But even there, their offerings are so mediocre that if you pitched it against how much money they've received, you find that the bulk of the money they've received has gone into consumption. Much of it has gone into waste, stealing. Randy, the stealing in that ambulance spare parts deal, $34 million contract awarded to the president's daughter through conduits and fronts. It's not substantiated. Randy, have they not awarded the $34 million contract to people close to the president's daughter? Have they not awarded such a contract? They paid $10 million out of it.
No, the Bank of Ghana says that although they've issued the LCs, the people have not come to claim it.
Oh, I see. After the alarm was blown.
As nobody has either written to or come for it.
Of course, but they cannot under the circumstances because alarm blew. You understand me? $34 million. And the spare parts were more expensive per unit than the buses themselves. You know the ambulance case that they are harassing, or they were harassing at forcing on. You know the unit cost of the ambulance. It was a Mercedes-Benz 311. I think the same thing that they are using now. It was 74 million euros, and it came with spare parts. 74,000 euros per head. 74,000 euros. It came with spare parts. This one, the ambulance they brought without spare parts is $113,000. And then the spare parts itself too is over $100,000.
No, you mean the $34 million?
The $34 million. Okay. That is per head.
Okay.
Per head. So right there you see blatant stealing. Blatant stealing. Look at the SML deal. And they claim that we owe them another 4 billion Ghana cedis. I don't know whether you are aware. Yeah, they said we owe them 5 billion. We've paid $1 billion. SML. Oh, haven't you read the president's?
Who owes them?
That the state of Ghana, per the contract that we signed. Didn't you read the president's white paper on that matter? Look at the blatant theft.
That's okay.
1 billion Ghana cedis to an entity that has done no work. And then the rest, they blow on unnecessary expenditure. And that whole city in the middle of Accra, that nobody knows what we have to do with. 333 million Ghana cedis. Complete what? Does it look like this will be complete what? Randy, 339 million Ghana cedis. Randy, that one, it is a low-hanging fruit for prosecution. First of all, they didn't even have parliamentary approval to make that expenditure.
Wow.
The president, when he first started a $17,000 an hour jet.
It's okay.
To go and watch
Tottenham in a budget.
Tottenham
money
and against Liverpool.
I was in a stadium that day.
Oh, okay. You went with your own money, right? Yeah. That's what President Akufo-Addo. He taxed us $17,000 an hour to go and do that. Tottenham against Liverpool. That was the president's preoccupation at the time.
It was a European final.
European final. Randy, before he became president, there were no European finals being played. He didn't go to those matches with 17,000.
He could go and watch us.
He could go and watch. Randy, you have traveled to watch us all over. Even Ghana World Cup matches.
He could go and watch us.
I know that the president is a key football enthusiast like myself.
If it happens to be an official,
I know that.
We go on official visit, and you.
I know.
Don't tell me that you have not traveled an official visit
to go and watch a football match.
A shop to buy something. You didn't go to buy or shop. But because you were on a trip in the country, you didn't take advantage. So if I
the president was on a trip,
and I happened to
Randy, the president was on a trip
something. It doesn't really mean that I incurred the expense to travel from Ghana because of that event.
If I want to go,
the match was not in the.
It was in Spain, Madrid. And Randy, you know that they tried their best to
concede. You didn't know the business he had in the UK.
I don't know.
Yes, you don't know the official business he had in.
There was no official business in Spain. There was no official business in Spain. Tell us the official business in Spain.
Come on.
Tell us. You said there was business. Tell me.
Maybe he was meeting the prime minister.
Randy, which prime minister? Come on. Randy, it is not true. He went to watch a football match. He was in the UK for what was supposedly an official visit. He went to Spain by a chartered flight, paid for by the taxpayer.
Let's go.
Randy, I can assure you, President Mama will not behave that way. Because I have told you before, that's what President Mama, he has sat in the economy class from Frankfurt to Accra before.
Oh, President Akufo-Addo traveled commercial. He has traveled
first class. First class, commercial.
I say President Mama traveled coach.
First class. If there's
Randy, President Mama traveled first class. Randy, yes, he traveled. I was sitting behind him. Randy, I was sitting behind him. Yes, from Frankfurt to Accra, I was sitting behind him. Yes, he has done so. Randy, he has done so. Randy, he has traveled coach, economy class. I was sitting right behind him, so I know that for a fact.
If there's first class on the flight, the president must fly it.
But Randy, even that is Randy. Yes, but Randy, even that is more acceptable. But Randy, you and I know that when the presidential jet had a glitch, the man went for the top of the range private jet.
As for that one, there.
It is not defensible. And President Mama will not. So Randy, he asks whether we have not seen President Mama before. Yes, we have seen him before. But you see, he showed prudence. You have shown waste. He showed empathy for the Ghanaian. You have shown total disrespect.
A moment ago,
he showed prudence.
Water project.
Yes.
The water project.
Your finance minister is under what do you call
water project.
Your finance minister Suleiman Abraham is
Akimodan water project.
Which Akimodan water project?
But these are all projects that we have.
It is Akimodan Winneba water project under President Mahama. Started in 2015.
We have done the second.
Akimodan Winneba.
22 million.
I beg. Ask Afena Marcus. He is the MP for the police. In fact, I'm sure he was in parliament at the time too. It was Winneba Akimodan.
So what's the problem with the war?
Suleiman Abraham says that the finance minister says that project has been completed. But he has found out that that is not the case.
Okay, he was fact checking it.
Yeah, he was fact checking. In fact, it's on his Twitter handle. We can go there and check it.
All right.
Randy, but I'm saying that we provided water for an additional 7 million Ghanaians with a total of over 102 million gallons of water a day addition.
And
I mentioned one of those projects which provides 40 million gallons of water a day to 700,000 inhabitants in Accra, Greater Accra, and Eastern Region, 80 communities in all. Just one project. There's nothing that the MPP has done underwater that comes close.
That is so true.
What is the total addition of water you've made? What is the total capacity of the project?
That's exactly what I'm going to give you.
Add all of it, just all of it. Add it.
I'll give it that in a moment.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Just give me a moment.
Okay, let me go and ask you to do your research, Randy. But so when they come here to speak to you about infrastructure after they've lost the economy debate, that Bamia has run away from. Yesterday, one of the young people at the NDC event put it succinctly. He told us a riddle, whose answer was quite glaring. Everybody knew that he was speaking the truth. You see, again, another attribute of a leader is your ability to take responsibility. Randy, you are hosting this program. If today there is some glitch, you have to take responsibility.
Annie.
Oh, but of course, you cannot.
I'll blame it on her.
Oh, I see. Randy, but you will apologize to the viewers.
I'm joking.
We have added a total
you will apologize to the
65 million gallons.
It's not true. That is not true.
And I can enumerate the
mention all of that. It's not true.
Sunyani Water Project, 12 million. Wenchi Water,
what a lie.
2.35.
Randy.
Keta Water, 7 million.
The population of Sunyani, they won't look at 12 million gallons.
Second D, Takrade, 22 million.
It's not true.
Akimoda, 7.7 million. Accra, 6 million.
Accra, where?
Upper East,
which project in Accra?
Which project? Rehabilitated the Pong Waterworks. We've added capacity of 6 million
that
gallons.
That is not true.
We've added 6 million gallons more.
Yes.
What's the total capacity now? What's the total capacity now?
But in total, we have added 65 million.
What a lie. And Randy, do you know what?
So the water
Randy,
capacity.
That's
the data. I will show you the data.
Randy, go to the sanitation. I beg your pardon.
That is it.
Oh, go to the sanitation ministry website. In 2016, when we were living, access to water had moved from 54% to 76%.
No, so that's what I'm wondering. If
otherwise, we will exceed the
65 million.
Randy, we will exceed demand.
Then we will
now
be producing about.
Randy, about almost 200. Almost 200.
We would have
200
million coverage
and million.
Then this did 40 million.
What?
We have done 65 million.
It's not true. No, it's not true. It's not true.
Oh, but that's what the
we didn't do 40 million. I said one
that's
project.
What the data says.
Randy, it's not true.
Just listen.
It's not true.
I'm listening to you.
Help me.
It's not true.
If by 2016 we had 76% coverage of water,
of potable water in this country.
Ghana, 76%. If you've added 65 million gallons of water, we should exceed 100%.
No, then you see the coverage.
What is our current coverage of water?
I don't have that data. I don't have that data immediately. But from what I have, from the data that I
right, which data?
In
that
this
is not
right
true.
moment,
it cannot be
from
true.
2017 to 2020. From 2017 to 2024, we have added 65 million gallons.
But that's what I'm giving you.
The point that you're making is that the point that you're making, right?
If we add 65 million gallons of water a day,
the point that you're making, where I live,
we should be exporting
where I live in Akwetema, right?
Yes.
The pipes are being expanded, right? It's had coverage since maybe the 90s, right? Abeka maybe in the 60s, but the capacity that Abeka needs today was different from what they did in the 70s.
Randy, when we
speak, pipelines are changing.
You see, Randy,
and if you
we are talking about Randy. We are talking about Randy.
Have to go to a new
Randy,
place,
we are talking about
but
production capacity.
Places are being much better today.
Randy,
that's what I'm saying. So we have produced additionally 65 million.
Which takes our coverage.
And I'm giving you. I'm saying that when you say coverage, I don't have the data as I sit here.
All right,
but I can break down the project how we got to the 65 million gallons per day.
Okay.
Randy, it's not true. You see, we are talking about the establishment of water production plants. As for pipeline changes, Randy, I can produce for you. Randy, I can produce for you.
That is not what I'm saying.
Documents from the Ministry of Water. At the time, it was Works and Housing, showing rehabilitation or changing of pipelines, large pipelines.
That is done.
Those are done routinely.
Every day is being done.
Those are done routinely.
Every day is being done.
We are talking about plans, Randy. The Pond Water Project is a 40 million capacity project. The desalination project is a 12 million capacity project.
And what I'm saying is that the Pond, we rehabilitated
the Accra
water capacity project by 6 million gallons per day.
Randy, even the Winneba to Akimoda one, the one that we did in Akufo-Addo's hometown, the small town water projects alone trump anything that they've done. So when you speak about
and the rest that are near completion,
and it's not true.
We've done 65.
Randy, as of the end of 2014, we have done 77.5 million. And yes, by the time we left in 2016, it was 107 million
gallons of
water a day. That's what we had added. That is why, if you look at the coverage area of these projects, it was 7 million Ghanaians who lived there. So what he's saying cannot be true.
No, then it could be true that they've added 65.
We have added 65.
So they've added 65 million.
Including the Pond.
You said you did 100.
Including the Pond. We have rehabilitated Pond and added 6 million gallons per day.
The areas he's talking about, the population there won't require that level of addition.
But when you say
not true.
Even in Accra, where I live.
But otherwise,
you can't tell me that I'm saying that we've added 6 million.
But I'm saying that even if we were to
I live in Accra, but I drink it.
Randy, even if we were to accept this,
it is no argument.
even if we were to accept the 65 million,
that
Does it come anywhere close to 109 million gallons of water a day?
No, I doubt that's what
you don't have
I doubt because the data that I have, the data I have shows that you need 40 million.
No, Randy, I'm saying that the Pond Water project alone is 40 million gallons a day. Is that not it? You don't know that. You say you've added 6 million. And yet you don't know that the capacity...
6 million or 65 million gallons per day.
You said you added 6 million.
I'm saying that plant...
He's saying that project they did was 40.
It's 40 million.
That one alone.
So that's the one that I mentioned that he's taking to mean all the addition. I'm saying the total addition is 109.7 million gallons of water a day.
Okay.
I've mentioned the desalination plant.
Water is life. That's it. Up next, GMG trends.
There's no feeling quite like wanting something. You see it when you close your eyes. You feel it against the hairs on your skin. You smell it mingled with the wind. You know it's yours, but you just can't seem to reach it. Until you can. Whatever the dream, we can make it happen. So get up, get started, and make we do
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually me, man. No more man, still.
One give us.
Give us a solid.
Yeah, sorry. What rest of so give us here and don't come down.
But so good as so. But for me to give us the and some down.
Give us about me, sir.
Paper try the and some down.
Customer. Give us a tonto now.
Onuya kayo oba wa fa furo nom de o ma no banu fu nom akwada won yimfie dumie no ono nso nom.
Yes. Star 712.
Picture this. Coming in Greece.
Yeah, and you were back in Greece. To say why you fit up the millionaire. Yes, the luckiest at Roma. To say about from Massa Echeman. Yeah. Now check this. Sister Abna, aka Kobe Hima. The luckiest at Roma. Queen B.
Yeah.
Boss lady Baku Pet. Hold on to your seats, folks. Such anyway, be you smooth. Way enter your friend will upgrade. Luckiest Adaroma. And the best part, that with the luckiest, Obia or a shot to a good life. And I'm talking to you, me, your girlfriend, your ex, your neighbors, your landlords, and even Goro boys. And no one is over dialing with lucky number. Star 712 hash. Now no.
Coswato ticket to win in the community draw or the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media with Desi, the star boy.
Good morning,
Mr. Kreku Daso.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Look, this morning, level 100 has been trending on X because of it's one of the policies, as yesterday the NDC talked about what the plans they have for the youth of this country. And a lot of people are asking questions about it. And all of that. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the policeman around Circle who is helping us take care of our belongings. So now the teams all the fear for Circle. And then we'll talk about some other things on the segment. So let's get into it. My name is Desi the Star. Let's begin with the level 100 because that is trending. And some of the comments on X. This one says, don't be saying all of these because of how eager you are to win the election. We are watching and referring to the flag bearer for the NDC. This one says that free SHS isn't possible, but entrance to tertiary schools will be free for level 100. Interesting. All right. And Repentant Center says the free level 100 academic fees, is it just public universities or both? Okay, so that's a question that's being asked there. This one says JDM's promise of free tertiary education for level 100 students extending free SHS to private schools is commendable and achievable. But then again, the current economic situation will play a key role. There must also be available funding and a well-structured plan and timelines to it. Okay, that's also one that came in. This one says that thank God that former President Mahama has realized the need to support free education to level 100. Is it a well thought through plan to help our students or just his usual propaganda tactics or an answer to free SHS, which is winning an election for him? Okay, this one says that better drop or explain this free tuition for level 100 or you lose my vote. I think we have more pressing issues than that are begging for attention than always playing the numbers game. Don't be like them. Oh, Kobe. So that's Kobe's message to the flag bearer for the NDC. So, Doc, level 100 for if the NDC wins, they will get some free level 100.
You see, when you look at the data, the number of people who enter secondary school, the number of people who see the WASI, the number of people who have passes that should enable them enter the university, and the number of people who actually enter the university. I mean, the figures are extremely disturbing. And obviously, something ought to be done about it. You can't have, let's say, 500,000 people qualifying to enter secondary school. Then you have about less than 200,000 actually entering public universities because some of the reasons include financial and all that. There obviously must be something. But you know, because in this country we don't like to do the hard work, do the research, do this thing. And so there's a problem. How do you solve the problem? How do you solve that? They say that, look, the people have a problem with the admission fee. Because you cannot go on to the SNIT, the loan, student loan. You can't get onto it before you enter the university. And so there must be something to cushion you to enter the university. Then when you enter, you can go on the loan and continue with your fees, up front. So that's the proposition that they're making. Okay. And then I saw a post by EduWatch, which indicates that it's going to cost about, if they use the figures for those who enrolled in the last academic year, then they are looking at some under 300 million cedis a year.
300 million cedis a year.
I mean, if it's 300 million cedis a year, it's not a big deal. But I think that maybe going forward, we ought to also look at how perhaps they can be able to access the facility. Once they qualify for the union, they can access the facility even before they get in.
So, I mean, that has been trending. And also, but people that they stake the bet, they are happy because yesterday the NDC flag was at Buko and former President John Mahama was speaking pidgin. That party speak pidgin, tell them not say the country hard. As a country hard, if the bet, small boys will take chalk them body, see how far.
And so the 10%, you know, if he come out, you go take him off. Let's listen to the NDC flag bearer.
You see, boys they hustle and job no day. So now the bet they do small, get money for gobe. You see? So I understand. As no say this one, it be matter where they concern the youth, plenty. So we talk already. Say where we come, the betting tax will go remove them.
The way the people do, hey, we like Chelsea beats Liverpool.
This betting thing is no joke, eh?
No,
everybody is involved in it.
The boys will do 1 or 2 to be able to survive. But one show that's a tough one so the NHS.
It's
so
no joke.
That is. I want to say good morning to some of my friends who are. Oh, it's okay. You have mentioned names.
Your friends who are into betting.
Who are heavy.
I'm told it's everywhere.
No, it's everywhere. Every 1 minute there's a betting company that pops up.
They said those way they knock the tires you if you then serve the bet pass.
You see that one? They choose 1, 2, 3 games be paid. And they go put big money for top. Sure bankers. So that one, if he hits Man City, you know Man City go score, Liverpool go score, Chelsea to go score. So if you choose 3 pair, you get down.
You know, I think with betting, people actually don't see it as gambling. You know why? Because it looks like they are winning something from their passion. Yes, their football is their passion.
Yeah.
And so people don't really see it as gambling.
As gambling.
Yeah, I think that is the game we watch and we argue about.
We argue about it.
And we predict scoreline already. So,
no, you know Aviator.
Which one is that?
Oh, that was.
What's that?
The Aviator. Oh, it's part of the game.
Airline betting.
No. So it's a game where it's like either airplane.
Is this also about football results?
No, there's no football.
It's a different thing.
This one is a different thing. Like some airplane, you go bet on that. There's some airplane day. Then you get more, you get more. If the airplane vanish, your money to vanish.
Huh?
Oh, yes.
In Ghana.
It's called Aviator. You
didn't true. You didn't do so.
Then you go do. So if let's say you put like 10 cents for top, then the more the airplane they go up, if they go up, then your money to they go up. So if you don't remove them fast, then the airplane will go. They will say your money shit.
And it's popular.
Oh no.
It's called Aviator.
Aviator.
Jesus.
On that note,
I'm in trouble.
Let's go to Circle because, Doc, many of us have been victims of some of these things that happen at Circle. So there's a policeman there. Right now, if you reach there, he's holding a megaphone. Policeman. Oh, yes. So now the thieves are moving away small.
Proper police or...
Oh, yes, he's a police officer. Let's watch the video.
Papa get go any my sister. On my bed you say Papa get go any. Ama say kwa from phone ni na mu nyina mo hwe nanim. Ono ani papa no ono ani. Papa get ni what? O se obi an hwe the bag yi. Papa get go any. E friend inspector Samoa. La passe. If you see something, Muhenani. Papa get if you see something, say something for me. If you see something, say something.
Yeah, so I've seen a number of times at Circle where he's saying, "Oh, bag no sheni."
No, I love this.
Yeah,
I love this.
I'll go look for him today.
This is proactive policing.
Yeah.
I think it should be replicated at all the markets and lorry parks and all those places. I think it's really You know.
Oh, I've seen him there in uniform.
This is ingenious.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's his own ingenuity. It's not as
Definitely,
if he was assigned to come do this.
So I would definitely speak to him.
That's
one
brilliant,
of the days when I see him
brilliant
there.
policing.
Yeah.
Brilliant policing.
Yeah. So I just had to put him.
But why is he not in the uniform?
So sometimes he
wears.
wears.
Reason?
Well, sometimes he
or
wears.
Off duty.
Yeah, I guess so. I've seen him in uniform a couple of times.
Oh, this man, he deserves a promotion.
Yeah. So we'll definitely keep tabs on this and bring you more on that. All right, Doc. Let's wrap up with Reverend Father. Reverend Father, they sing, "We didn't know, but yes, you do." Okay. Doc, you know that song? Kim Paluta.
Yes.
That's what Reverend Father, he was in the mood.
Okay.
This Roman Father is a guy man.
I'm sure he was the entertainment prefect at the
seminary. When he was at the seminary.
He was the NTP. He was the entertainment prefect.
But
look, to be honest,
that's a
lot
song.
of the Orthodox churches, if they don't adopt some of these things, they probably will die off. The young people, the things that interest them. So recently, when I had my cousin and the mom's funeral, so I went to the Methodist Church at Abeka. And I realized that their worship and praises has changed. It was as if I was in a charismatic church or something. So I asked my cousin, Reverend Eugene, he's a Methodist priest. And he said, oh, yeah, a lot has changed in the church and all that, Reverend Eugene Ama. So a lot has changed in the church and all that. But I said, because otherwise young people won't find
the church
attractive.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure that this Catholic Church, for example, I'm sure because of this, you will find a lot more young people.
A lot more. So I understand that.
Did you see the young guy who came to stand?
Oh, yes, he did rap Plaza. So I understand this in Stephen's Catholic Church in Kumewu, Abodomasi.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Reverend Father, you guy.
But that's a Catholic priest.
Yes. Yeah.
So, no chick. No.
Do
you know you remember the praise that we played? He said that's when he doesn't want any praises. When he finishes, he goes to get his club beer. He's also a Catholic priest. So I don't know if the club beer is before or after.
That might be after. On that note, have an aviator day. May your day soar higher. In Jesus' name, shouts only flavor. Percy.
People bet on an aircraft ticket.
Oh, yes. Scott Aviator. On that note.
I'm speechless. Anyway, so that will be it. Up next, Metro Sports, the Aviator edition.